to see in mirrors, maybe after it happened, after you met that mysterious figure who, introduced you to Sid. Right now, it feels like whatever they left at the back of Rania's neck, like when it first happened, it burned all together. But now it feels like it's just burning right at the front, as if it was a word, let's say like gift, someone is trying to just say gift. Just the first few letters of whatever was transcribed on the back. It sears at first and then pulses, just like an itch just calling.
Brania would definitely like snake her hands to where it is in her hair and kind of touch it, and remembering what was said before about if she needed him to call him. And she's wondering if this is kind of like a sign that might be that time. But I know I want to know why, so I'm sure she wants to know why this is happening now after for so long. As we've been at school, that this symbol has been kind of silent.
Since Sid has come into your life, it hasn't done a thing, and you are correct. Rania has felt nothing. He was just there, and the hair, and Sid's nests have done as much as possible to, keep it obscured as possible, from everyone, even those who would be interested, like a certain demonology professor. But, with that same brains check, the only thing that could ping you to like information is that section of the library. There are books all around it. The ones that was whispering to you had, deep dark magic, and just like how Sid felt that shudder of powerful magic. But around it were, other tomes and things that related to history and story of just a demonic world, maybe, a little bit safer, as a library has different books of multiple varying, subjects, or sub headings, I guess, to categories to a subject like demonology.
With that, I know Rania, even like as she's like feeling the room burn, she would absent-mindedly be walking, and I feel like her little feet would just take her straight in front of the library, and she would just kind of look up and around, and she'll be like, huh, when did I get here?
And you see like Sid's like head poke out, like, oh, are we going here before our test?
I think so. I didn't really have a plan in mind of where we would go before our exam, but it seems like a good place, right?
Yeah, we should get more time to study then. That would be really cool. I think Professor Harkness is like impressed. Yes, very warm. And you see him like poke out like half of his body out of the hair, just to like kind of like stretch and shake his feathers.
All right, it's decided. Let's go on in and let's try to find a place by the fireplace.
Okay. He like kind of bounces up and down and pulls a little bit of the like hair out to like kind of cover him a little bit, and you just hear him like a little snatch.
She would definitely feel that tug as he has fully knotted her hair as always, and she'll be like, "Ow, you little bugger, that hurt."
You just hear like a squawk, like a raven squawk back rather than actually like saying anything, and it just like you just see him like disappear out. From there, like in this library, it's as you've seen before. There is this main area. It's lower. It's where the door opens to, and they're interspersed between aisles and aisles of books and shelves of books are tables where you see a couple students like very focused. You even see a group of students trying to study, but they're like drawing and sketching like the things that they could do or food that they could try at this ball. And they're immersed in what they're doing. You see a couple of like very serious older students who are, clearly graduating soon, and they're just like in a cubicle, stacks of books, pencils in hair, and just like very tired, but trying their best to like pay attention. And a librarian or two. The librarians here are like past alumni or professors who are, working around and pulling books and moving book carts, and they're just like, during this time of year, there's one at the main table. You see it's an older gentleman with like a monocle, and he's like falling into the chair almost, because as like the ghost part of him is like kind of absorbing into the chair, but completely fallen asleep.
Since Rania and Obsidian have reached the library, does Rania notice anything different about herself, or she's just noticing everything around her?
Let's see, for yourself, you notice that this is a comfortable space. Nothing yet. The little pulsating feeling hasn't stopped, but it also hasn't changed. It feels like a throbbing pain, like just a call, like a little bit on your left side. I had to check.
Okay, so Rania would walk to her favorite spot in the library, which is kind of nestled between the back stacks and the wall, which is really close to the fireplace as well, and sit in her favorite chair and dump all of her books on the desk, and kind of just absent-mindedly from the first book she picks up, just kind of flipping the pages without actually reading it, and just like listening to the paper swishing and the scribbling of the pencils, and everyone kind of muttering and having their nervous student moment before an exam, and she's just enjoying the space, but that tingling pain in her neck is definitely like got her attention, but she's not really focusing too much on it.
Sid just jumps out of the hair and just immediately like starts bouncing up onto the table and like just moving like a little raven would across, and just pecks at the papers, pulling it down and pulling apart, and just like takes a couple of pages to organize them a little bit. Just and this might be on this. Maybe I should read on this. What was this again? Imps, and then there were beans, and then shadowlings, and then there's
Shadowlings, yes, that's right.
Shadowlings. Okay, that's the third rank. Then there's hellhounds. Are hellhounds higher or lower than
Hellhounds are fifth.
Hellhounds are fifth. Okay. I can't remember the higher ones, but I'll remember if I remember the lower ones, then you can remember the higher ones, and we can do that.
Okay, sounds like a plan. And she's kind of hearing him, but she's not. She's still just like slowly flipping the pages and looking around and just enjoying the comfortable silence. And she's in her like her element, her zone. The library is a zen place for her. So she's still in the back of, very silently in the back of her mind, thinking about how there's so many books here that are just off limits, and she wants to know why.
Right, the corner you're in, from there you can see the light kind of coming through the windows, and like the stairwells that kind of go higher and higher, and that gate that you all went through towards the restricted section. There's not a lot of people there. You know this walking here. A lot of people doing a lot of things tonight. There's just testing going on. But as your eyes kind of glaze over to that corner of that library where, those books are held away from you, the pulsing increases.
I would definitely look around again just to make sure like it's kind of emptied out, and absent-mindedly get up towards it, especially when she notices the pulsating increase as she looks towards that gate, and kind of just wanders, and she'll say to Sid, who's still like tapping around on the desk, she'll say, Sid, I'm gonna check this, just check the stash real quick, see if there's anything that I can find about more of those lower ranked demons, so you can kind of get, an arrangement in your head about what's what, okay?
Okay.
And she'll walk towards that direction of the gate where she knows those other non-restricted demonology books are. And she'll just walk that way, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Rania does exactly that. Just, you skirt around a little couple shelves, you get to another aisle, and you see a couple students, but they're not focused on you. They're doing their own thing. But it's been repaired, and the lock that it has on it doesn't look like it's changed much since then. Nothing, at least with your physical eye, like different.
Okay, are there any teachers or ghost librarians close?
Aside from the main one sleeping, teachers, no. The other ghosts are probably in the aisles and not really watching this area. The main one that is, imagine if you came into a library and that circle where the librarians are, like the little desk, is where the main one is sleeping. And then this restricted area is like a little bit ways behind it. So if he was awake, he would see you. But he's not.
I'm going to subtly walk over and see if I can pop the lock again.
I would love a light check to see if you are trying to do this subtly. And for a lock, I think that would be astral bending. So let's get that stealth check first.
Well, not very subtle.
You just hear like Oh. The man, like, the ghost, librarian just, like, wakes up for a second. Just, okay. And just shifts around. The noise that it made, at least, not walking up to it closely, like, shocked them awake, and you can see, like, they froze for a second and looked to where you were, but with the glazed eyes. The ghost is like glazed over as if he was in a very, very deep sleep, and let's see, like the glint of like light that comes in and kind of goes through the ghost figure highlights something, even though like you might have not noticed if you were I guess not as sneaky. There are 3 little charms that are attached to his belt that are actually, physical items, and they have 3 runes on it. You probably would have, if you snuck through, you probably wouldn't have noticed. But because you were loud and you jolted him up for a second, you realized this is the new lock that they've put on there. It's not a set of keys, it's runes that you would have to put like a code into like a combination. The door in front of you to this part of the area, the combination, like if there was a lock there, it would be a combination lock, but it's not showing itself.
Are we able to walk over to the door and see if it would reveal?
You're right at the door. Ronnie is right at the door. Do you want to try and grab at the air?
I kind of do, but I'm kind of also like, what if it wakes him up again? You know what? I think we'll kind of like wave our hand over the door to see if it'll what it does, because there may be more than just the combination lock if she knows Professor Harkness the way she does.
So say one more time what you would like to do. What is Rania doing?
So Rania will reach her hand out towards the lock and kind of like do a swiping motion over it to see if the door either like reveals a trap or has a barrier, or if it will reveal like that the lock is no longer actually a lock, it's a combination.
Rania's hand kind of glazes over it, just like as if grabbing the air, the sunlight. And as it goes through the fingers and lands on the pinky, and light traces through everything and the shadows come into play, you can note this very easily. The light bounces through your hands, Rania, and hits the wall. But the shape, as you're going through it, the shape that hit the wall, hit the door. But as the light kind of goes through the fingers, you notice there's this shape that doesn't make sense. There's no circle, casting this shadow. But as it's hitting the wall, there's a little curve.
So, I'm guessing that the curvature of light is now where you would put those ruins in a particular pattern to now open that door.
Possibly.
Which means we need those keys. Decisions. You know what? I think we're gonna try to go get those keys from the librarian and see if we can crack into this door. It might be a huge mistake, but we're gonna try.
Let's go. You, are you sneaking up to the? If you're not sneaking up to them, it's just like a quick walk to the librarian's desk. But if you are trying to sneak, just give me another flight check.
Might do me right, okay?
They are sleeping for sure.
Like my
but
brains, okay? Like my brains. Okay, a 10. That'll work.
What was it? Sorry, my thing is loading. It was a 10, you said? There we go. With the 10, you are right at the librarian's desk, and they are fully back to sleep. They haven't heard a thing. They haven't moved a muscle. You see a little like ghost cheek muscle like twitch for a second, just. And at the hip where this physical belt of keys would be, that clearly a professor has assigned this ghost to have, the keys that you noted aren't keys. It looks like a screen would, you know, but with 3 little blocks, and the numbers or the runes are changing. It's like the authentication code that keeps refreshing every minute. 30 seconds, you don't know. If you like looked at the clock and timed it, it could have been like maybe every 30 seconds you see like if it was numbers, it would be like 077, you know, whatever. And then 30 seconds pass and you see like it like change like dials. It's a code, but in runic form. Right now the code is at a triangle with an eye, what looks to be a seahorse with a dragon wing, and a runic like shaped T that's very curvy at the top with a line coming down. Looks like a T, but it's, you know this from rituals and evocations, this is a runic letter that could be fit into a word for summoning, but it's like a letter that looks like a T.
We need to somehow grab the set of keys without waking our librarian friend.
Give me a brains check really quickly.
Brain be nice to me too. Okay. Thanks. 17.
What did you say? Brains be nice to you? My goodness.
Yeah, brain be nice to me.
This is like to a verification code. Like when you log into something and a code sends to your email, and you get that code and you input that code and you're in. However, what the teachers have created is like a refreshing list of codes, and certain people have those codes, like the ghosts, right? And every 30 seconds that code refreshes. So if you were seated, you know, and you were sneaking around, you would never have noticed this. But because you jolted him awake, even though you're trying to be sneaky, you did. You just have to memorize the code. Right now, the 30 seconds are up, like, you know, you're just standing here and you see it flick, and now you see like the code changed. That code changed to now a diamond shape, what looks to be a tower with like a little star at the top. And then the last part of the code was a circle with like sun rays coming out of it. You just need to memorize that code and tap it in.
That's right.
Back at the door, as you are walking up to it and the shadow kind of shows, it looks like with a 17 for sure. A charm has been made to make it look invisible. There is a lock there. It's just, well, magically hidden.
So our first step in this very short 30 seconds would be to figure out how we input this code.
Mm-hmm.
And when we waved our hand over the door earlier, that's when the code inputter was revealed.
Well,
So
it just showed that there was clearly something there. Just like, oh, there's a lock here that they put an invisibility thing on, and the sunlight still reflects on it a little bit.
So I'm gonna actually reach for the lock and touch it to see if maybe like it reveals some like raised bumps or sigils beneath my hand.
It does immediately. It doesn't show itself, but it's like you can feel it, the heavy weight of it in your hand. You feel the bumps of the 3 different like locations, like a number dials on like combination lockwood, like 1, 2, 3. But because these are runic symbols, you can't really see what they look like. It just feels like you're holding air, and it's very heavy.
So the lock is kind of suspended in the air, right?
It's like there. It's just it's invisible.
Put one hand on the rune to feel it, and the other hand to turn the knob, so I can feel that I put in the diamond, the tower with the star, and the circular sun.
Great. Give me. I feel like this would be flight because you're trying to do this very. You're trying to be dexterous, right? You're trying to do this very well. Let's do flight. With a 9, you as the fingers are tracing through, you feel the different shapes come to like the tower, the little circle, sun, everything, and just click, and just a small little pop. The heavy part of the lock drops and opens. There's like a slight creak to the door as it just like and there's just a sliver of space as it opens in front of you.
Oh, Rania's losing her mind. I'm losing my mind. So Rania, now that the door is slightly ajar, has one thing on her mind, and it's the thing that has been nagging her since the moment it got taken from her. She wants to go in this room, so she is going to go into this room, and she's gonna look for her book.
The book that you are looking for, everything that that you remember from your nighttime, adventure or just your own curiosity, is laid out very easily for you. Rania is at home in the library. I don't think there would be a moment where they wouldn't know where to go.
She has a feeling that it's tied to one of these books, whether or not it is that book that called to her so deeply that night, but it was dark, so she might have grabbed the wrong book, who knows. She wants to know which book is actually calling her. and she's
Give me a
not
brains.
okay. I was saying she's not dumb enough to just reach for it because there might be all kinds of hokiness happening. Another 17.
I'm like thinking of literally an actual book title, because I was like, as soon as you said a brains, I was like, why am I doing this? I should just have the answer. The tomes in the library, very, categorized very simply, very beautifully. You see immediately the missing section, a couple of the books have filled in that gap by toppling down, where the book that you borrowed has not returned back to this section, clearly locked and put somewhere else. That gap, covered, or the leaning books that are leaning over you, as you're glancing through them, the pulsing on your neck starts just quickening, just warmer, as if the full sentence of what is scrawled on your neck is now coming together, brighter and brighter and brighter. Your eyes glance over a couple tomes, and then you see one that piques your interest. Something that Rania would, be a little bit more interested in, just especially with their recent activities. And just like that pulsing feeling, it feels like that book is just little slight shakes and calling to you.
Rania is having total flashbacks of that night. That her friends were being like, "Don't you dare touch that book."
You hear the voices just "Rania, no, let it go," and just Odette "Rania, no." And Quinn is maybe you should get it.
Very much Quinn to be just go and get the book.
It's just right there.
Why don't you just reach out and grab your book, my dear? It's for you. It's for you. Yeah, and she's gonna listen to Quinn. She's definitely gonna put her hand up. Rania is going to, being mindful that she told Obsidian she was looking for him a book as well. She's gonna take that book and she's gonna get her booty up out of this restricted section before she get caught.
But when you tapped into that, you just immediately got called to the book, and it starts shaking in your hand. And as it starts shaking, it wants to come up open. It almost looks like as the covers are trying to pull apart. So if you're trying to hold it, if you're holding like this, you can feel it expanding to open up.
She doesn't want to open it in here. She wants to take it back to her room. So she kind of bear hugs it to her chest, to kind of keep both covers from flying open, and revealing things here. She kind of wants to be able to write them down. So she's gonna bear hold it and try to get out of the space and get back to her room.
Give me a brawn check.
What? Die. Let me whip out my D4. I haven't had to use this in a while. Give me a moment. A 1.
The book shakes in your hand and easily pulls apart. The large shelves in front of you have tables in front of them with chairs to study at. These are tighter, areas for remote study, and it plops down onto the table, and you see the pages started flitting, making a little shuffling sound, a little louder than normal. And you notice letters start lighting up. Almost as if a code is being sent to you, and as quickly as it shows, it switches to another page to show the next letter. The first letter that comes out is H, E, L, L, O.
So, because Rania knows that sometimes things on the other side like to tap on the barrier, kind of like a Ouija board, he would answer because she feels comfortable enough since she's done something similar before.
How would Rania answer?
She would say hello back. And
The pages
she would
like
wait for it to come back. Yep, tell her what she needs to know.
it flicks to like another page, and you see like this is a book that has lots of like language and like chapters, and talks about pacts and deals and things like that, and it's using the actual words from the book to talk. So you see the word remember, and page change me, and then page question mark.
Nia would ask, remember who? Because she doesn't want to give the book any names so that it can't impersonate who they think she is supposed to think, giving her these vague like questions.
It starts passing through the pages a little faster, passing through the pages, and then it comes to like a spot in a paragraph where there's like a H that's like bolded or like in a word, and you just see like H-A, 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 like for a little bit before the pages turn and say, I need help. And the spine of it, not the spine of the book, but the middle of the book kind of opens up a little wider until the book is flat on the table, as if the spine got cracked. And you see the pages morph into the shape of a hand reaching out to you.
Now, I know this should terrify her. Sadly, it does not. Considering literally this is what this girl has been doing all summer long.
So how would Rania, if somebody were to like pass by this like aisle, what would be on Rania's face? Like
it
this,
would
like
it'd be like a look of like, I'm trying to think of the like GIF. It's kind of like, you know, the kid that's standing in the restaurant with his hand on his chest and he's just looking back at the camera, and then like back and forth. Yeah. She's like, who is like? She's like, who is this? And why are they trying to talk to me? Like, it's impressive.
does Rania reach for the hand?
Because she is ever so slightly reckless, yes. She does, because why else would her ruined sigil be burning? She's gonna take a leap and see if she can help.
The grip is strong, as if you're pulling something out of somewhere. In this quiet little aisle, it's practically, remote. There's no one walking around. It's, even though the noise of the book shuffling around is loud for this quiet part, it's nothing noticeable around you. It seems like everyone downstairs is focused, and there's other noises and things going around. Like, it's a perfect time compared to if it was like nighttime. The hand pulls to an arm, all wrapped in like writing and scroll work, and as if it was the pages itself coming alive, and the pull like it's almost using you as like a rope, as another arm shoots out, and like what looks to be a humanoid head, body, legs starts crawling out of the book. But as the last limb comes through, you just see this, like, as if the book's like this slime that covers it and is like still attached to the pages. It holds it taut. There's like the string of paper holding it until like it pops, and the book pulls back its pages and completely like falls to the table again. It was like leaning up a bit as it was being pulled. Whatever was coming out was being pulled out, and in front of you, this figure plops to the ground, almost weakened and tired. You can see scars, raggedy, they're like just raggedy limbs. It almost looks starved, tired, and looks up at you. And you remember this face. This is that one demon. The one you've successfully called forward and released. And from the looks of it, has been on the run for a very long time. Maybe for you it's been a couple months since you've seen him. But right now in front of you, he's almost wasted away, as if he's been in hiding. You can see he's wearing the same clothes as before, but they're tattered remains. You see a little bit more of his bones, a little bit more of, as he looks up at you and just, I used a little bit, just the last bit of my power to call you forward. I didn't think you'd find me.
I thought you went to a field. What are you doing in that book?
He like grips onto the chair to like climb up, and he like slides under to like fall. He's like, oh. Running from the only person interested in my release, and that's the Night Mother. The Night Phoenix. She's not happy that I gave you. You're a little familiar. I've been running for a while. I guess freedom has a little bit of a cost.
She can't take him. You promised.
Oh, no, of course. The Night Phoenix, she's always concerned with how things look. So of course, she's told people that it was gifted. If you were to ask any of the demons that work with her, and if you were to summon any of them to them, or even if you were to ask your parents, you would have known, like, the moment that you walked with the little one, she's probably notified everyone to say, oh, here it is, as if she meant to do this. Wouldn't want the people to know that there was a breakout. And then as he's like pulling himself up, you see his very long figure. This is like David Tennant, tall and skinny. his faces, as you remember, it was in this like blaze of fire, and you only used to see like his eyes, but now it's like pitch black, and like he has dark tendrils going backwards, as if it was his hair, it was like combed backwards. And the spirit of that flame fire, the dark rich red of his clothing, is muted now. He's clearly like, you can see like his clothes are not fitting as well. I was like, I didn't think I would need to call you. I had a couple of friends on this side, you see, just a couple. Seems time has passed. A couple of them have sadly perished. I didn't know that happens. I forgot that happens to you mortals. Do you have something? Could you help me? Help? And he just like leans on you to sit down a little bit.
She would kind of steady him because she's not afraid of him. But she definitely would be like, well, you need my help. I thought the pact was I could call on you when I needed your help. Does that make our contract null and void?
Null and void. Oh no. That contract was for me to help you. You released me and you got Sid. The contract was complete. For letting me out into the world. I added an addendum. I remember. And he kind of almost like reaches for your neck as if that was the addendum and says, if you need me, you were to call me and I could help you. That's still there. Our contract is for regarding Sid is complete. I would say this would be extra help.
She would tentatively like kind of touch the spot herself, and she'll be like, well, how can I help you now? The Night Phoenix will be deathly hard to fight on our own, and it looks like you've been running ragged since I let you out a few months ago.
Do that one more time for me, sorry.
She would say, like touch the back of her neck, and she'll be like, oh, well, I'm glad I could help you this time, but what do you want me to do? We can't fight the Night Phoenix. She's too powerful.
Don't worry. I just need to hide. This is above your skill level, but I need to hide. I've been hiding. Well, she's not the type to leave her post. She's a high-ranking demoness. She won't leave the demonic realm to find me. She sends her little things. But granted, they are dumb, and we are not. So, I've hidden in things that they are not really going to look. The crevices between bricks. The realms and worlds that exist between pages. You ever wonder in this room how many worlds exist between the papers itself that are glued together? They don't know how to look through that. But I am hungry and cannot sustain myself for too long within its pages. So, I called out to you because I was sort of trapped. If I were to call out further, I was bouncing between books and spaces, minimal, realms from spot to spot, far away from here. And as my power weakened, I knew this must be the only spot that I knew of one contact who was, alive and well, and I recently talked to. Lucky enough, well, you answered my call.
reason couldn't get that book out of my mind?
Not sure. It looks like he's saying the truth. You would have to do a check to make sure, like, get some insight. But he pretty much just, he's like quieting down as his strength is failing him, and he just says, "Is there a spot in this library where I can hide for a bit? A corner that doesn't really get me anywhere, you know, get questions asked? You look like you would know where to go. And about the book? No. Maybe as I was tapping in from another realm, it could have called into a power of another book, but no. I'm not sure. I was very weak when I was trying to call you. I'm still very weak."
She would believe him, considering he helped her get Sid. And after he helped her get Sid, she would say, "Oh yeah, of course. We gotta get out of the restricted section though to get you to a quiet area. But I can get you there. Can you walk?"
Give me a flight, please.
Flight. Oh, one.
As you're pulling him and like the shuffle, like he's slumping over. He has no strength to move. He is practically failing to move. But the restricted section is not, you know, isn't devoid of these spaces. There are quiet study rooms up here. There are places where students could go, like for group projects, older students go. If you imagine like a university library, where there are study rooms that are just open, that people sign in and out of, that you could book a time and set and keep him in.
Considering that it is the restricted section, do we have to have written permission for those study rooms as well?
Nope, it's like a sign-in area. Like the restricted section, to take out a book there, well, you would need written permission. But this restricted section is also restricted for like high levels of studying. So teachers you don't need permission from a teacher to sign out like a room to study in. It just would have like it would be like imagine a magical like sign-in board at the front of the room that just blocks out a couple of hours so that other students don't disturb during these times.
Okay, so knowing that he can't really leave this area, she would say to him, "Okay, let me get you into one of these rooms, but I can only get you a couple hours. I hope that can help." Help me.
And he like wraps his arm, like very long arm, around your like neck to kind of like put the weight on you. He like lifts up, like using, like you see the chair wobbling to give him leverage, and just pulls up. That's good for now. He's not heavy, and that's surprising to you. That it would be, you know, considering that he's still as tall, but not heavy on your shoulder. It's been a long time for him, and you can feel that just from the weight. The door that you come to, it's slow, but it's quiet. You hear rustling and stuff from downstairs, but nothing to warn you. You're already at that area, and you have a couple hours. Your time for your demonology exam is like almost in a couple of minutes from how long you've spent at this library. And you're able to, put in for a couple hours. It like opens, he like slumps in and goes into a corner, and he like, before you try to turn on any lights, or the lights, like the candles or anything, like starts to automatically like lift up, he just come back and bring me some food, okay? I'll show you. Get that book. I can tell you what to get you if you are picking me up anything.
Noah would be like, sure, just you gotta wait till after my demonology exam. But I got a couple minutes before I gotta be over there. And she'll run towards the other book and bring it back to him so she can continue to help him.
He like mutters for a second. He's like, no, here, the magic should still work. And you see, like, just like before, the page is flitting through, and it's like the same letters, like, or words popping up like a code and going back. And he was like, but this time you should be able to write in it to answer back. And he like puts his hand on the book, and black tendrils seep into it, and you see magic, like little circles of red fire kind of like imprinting itself, like embossing itself onto the pages. And how deep it goes, you see there are portions of the text that move a little bit more, like the typeface like decreases in size, so you have now more room to like just scrawl like answers on there. And he like closes it to you, is like, I can wait. I want to rest. That exit was I just need some rest. I'll see you in a couple hours, okay?
She kind of looks at him, kind of like she did when he came out of the circle, and she's like, I need you to promise me you're not gonna leave this room and cause some chaos. But
oh, no, that would just make her notice, so don't worry. I'm not this spot. And imagine him like scrunched up together in the corner of the room, and he's like using his clothes to like kind of warm himself, and he just like leans his head on the wall and looks to you with like half open eyes. Promise, Rania.
can we try to summon a blanket for him, because it is a little chilly outside?
Sure. That would let's see, that would be, give me grit. And this is something, a simple summoning, like or I guess it could be like transmutation where you're changing something into it. So it's not too difficult. I think with your brains, you've probably learned something like this. But I would say this would be a DC of 7. What is Rania's favorite class, by the way?
It's demonology.
Okay. You can add, you can roll a d4 because it's your favorite class to summon something like that would be, I guess, warming to a demon, or, comforting.
So you want me to roll grit and a d4?
Yes, please.
Okay. So my grit has a +2 mod.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be grit, d4 +2. Oh, that's a pretty dice.
Those were exploding. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it meets it, and we're just for time, and because I know we were hoping to run this a little shorter, and there's a lot more that I want to do with you. We're going to the tendrils came out of like your wand. You see a little bit of your wand kind of transforming into Professor Harkness's kind of coloration, because this is strong demonology magic, and a weave of like a cocoon, like how a moth would come out of, like, you know, how a caterpillar would go into it, start wrapping around this demon. And when it comes to his face, it doesn't cover it, it covers around him, and he just looks at you, and just the softest, like most impressed smile shows on his face, as if he's looking at someone wildly talented beyond her years. This is a good one. Now go. I'm sure you'll do well on your exams. I'll be right here.
She looks at him and she goes, okay, just hold on. And then she'll run out and go back to Sid and say, well, we'll run out and try to get back to Sid so we can tell him that it's time for our exam.
We'll take a quick break, and then I also want to ask, like, what time is a big cutoff for you? Right. Great. As you all walk through the halls, go to this far back testing, you know, this classroom is one of the older classrooms, and it's one of the boring hallways. You see, like, even a cart that was just sitting there that one of the staff members have left. A couple of the students have tossed things on it. It's a place where things get left, and there's a door. Professor Onyx is inside with 𝘌𝑃ℎ𝑃ℎ, the jackalope, and it's just bouncing around. You see the papers being placed, and Professor Onyx just, everyone, like, settle in. Those will be, if you've done your studying, you should be fine. Come on in, first years.
Amelia goes in and tries to find a seat somewhere, like, not super far in the back, but definitely not up front.
As you all come in, take your seats, immediately as you sit down, the chairs start to shake, and quickly Professor Onyx just says, oh, no, don't worry, we have a special test for today. And they, like, wave their wand, and you see on their wand it's scroll work and runes all throughout there because of their specialty. But as they pass it, the floor sinks almost down into, like, sand, and your chairs are kind of sinking into it. And he's like, I would hold your breath. It would only be for a second.
Amelia's also just scrunching her eyes, just pinching nose, scrunching eyes, and she just takes a big breath right before she goes in the sand.
The chairs pass through, and it feels like it's hugging you, and then immediately you just, the legs of the chair lands, and all of you are seated, but then lifted up by the chair. And underneath, there is a little chamber where Professor Onyx have built a testing room. There are runes scrawled all over the walls, and the walls look like it have passageways. But there are multiple paths. A couple of the other students are already kind of walking to one path, the other one's walking, over. You hear a couple of them calling back. And then, like, Professor Onyx, you see them, like, a foot appear first. And as a heavier man, you see his, like, robes come up, and he just, like, all right, now settle. Don't start the test. Get back to the start. And a couple of kids, like, you see the tops of their heads. That's all you can see past the first set of walls as they come back. A couple of them are like already mistaken, and Professor Onyx like, no, around. This is like when I was trying to go straight to my cousin's wedding back in Scotland. I really wanted to do a better thing of this, but I thought this would be a lot more fun. At least, you know, as first years, you probably have read chapters 4 through 15. Of course, there'll be mandatory written questions at the end, but I feel like you can get them if you've studied enough. But this would be fun for, you know, a little bit of exercise, a little bit of adventure. And I thought maybe adventure is good for young spirits, especially as young as you know, to magic. I myself still think you should still, you know, dive into the youthful activities, even at my age. From that point, I thought, oh, what would be great would be questions asked as you pass through these challenges. And maybe, you know, that could be a good midterm exam. I'm sure you would. And he starts, you know, rambling on for a while before, like Miles just like coughs out loud. And he just, oh, yeah, yes, of course. Really quickly, it's a simple maze. Go through, answer a couple of questions, get through the end, write in what you see. I feel like it's self-explanatory. Good luck. And then he waves his wand, and the sand that was above you start falling in to the little middle of the room where the maze is starting, but slowly, one at a time. And you hear his voice. You have until the sand stops.
Together on this, right? Group project.
Let's go.
So
Say not to. I feel like that was
say you could, like he said a lot of things, but he didn't say that at all. So I feel like we should do it. Group midterms.
okay.
Team Ghoulies for the win.
Odette is gonna start linking her arms with everybody.
Yes.
Aaron's gonna have to bend down for linking arm.
Anything for her.
I thought we were gonna hold her
back
up.
problems. Yay.
I'm down for it. Anything for love.
Anything for love.
It would go Cora. I don't know how tall Quinn is, but it would probably be like Cora, Odette, and then like
Quinn's 5'5".
Amelia. Oh yeah, okay. Then it would be Cora, Odette, Quinn, Amelia on like the height scale.
Odette is like 5 foot exactly.
Even as y'all are, you know, getting to this, you see the sand kind of move for a bit, and you just hear as like the feet of your friend Rania kind of joins, like, oh, sorry, I'm late. Okay. What are y'all up to? Is this a group event? Of course. I'll never miss an exam. Miles, even in the background, is working with Dom and just like, I don't know if I understand this. This is a question for me or for you. And then you see him starting to scrawl on the walls. And as soon as he like finishes scrawling it, it disappears on these, imagine, brown sand-like walls that are, you know, made into bricks that climb up. But as he does that, like a passageway kind of opens and the walls start shifting like Maze Runner. And as they go through, all of you who are tallest can see that the walls afterwards grow in height.
So glad they did that. Okay. It's for runic lore. I mean, surely we're supposed to use runes here. At the group, like,
All right. So
what's the plan?
There's a passageway in front of you that's already opened. Like after Dominic and Miles have moved, they've, it's shifted back and like a smaller area has like opened.
I assume it closed. Okay, so I'm sorry. I thought it closed.
No, imagine it closed behind them, but when it did, it opened the other side.
Okay. Okay, so Quinn's gonna go through there. If it's open.
That is just like a step behind Quinn for sure.
I don't know. Just wanna get dude, let's just show this maze how we can be amazing. I don't know.
Hidden rooms on the walls.
Yes. This is like perception rather than like a magic spell. So this could be brains. Unless you can describe to me something else.
So she would be using brains. Could I maybe do 2 checks? Like a brains check to like see if there are any like physical signs of maybe runes left or maybe work of runes put in them. And then could I also do like a rune lore magic check where I'm like touching the wall and trying to see
Yeah.
any leftover magic?
Yes, you can. Wonderful ideas.
Yep, I don't see anything wrong with the wall, that's for sure. It is a wall.
The walls feel brittle and sand-like to Amelia's hands. But as you're, moving your hands through it, as you're moving through and your hands are pushing against it, the like light, the sand that is falling down, all are giving you other, perceptive clues, other perceptive hints, and all these things that kind of obscure you actually from seeing what's on the wall. And your eyes kind of dart away from what could be on the wall to what's missing in between. You see like gaps where right now, all of you, as you pass through, there's a hallway, and there looks to be, from what you could see from your height, is other paths, but the doors aren't open. And with the magic spell, you wave your wand, and let me give you 2 adversity tokens.
Thank you.
You wave your wand, and the magic kind of hits the walls, and it doesn't tell you anything as well as your what you already see physically.
Okay, guys. The sand's kind of blocking it, and I can't make anything out. I guess we're just gonna walk it blind if there are anything. And Amelia just kind of starts trudging behind them sadly because she's
Oh,
got sand all over her now.
No. No.
And she's like doing that little clap thing with her hands, trying to get some of it off of her.
The struggle. 1 second. Doesn't one of you have a familiar that can fly? Can't we just like see where we are right now? Or at least see a radius of where we could go next?
did the birds fly into the sand though? Would they be comfortable with that?
I have no idea.
Me?
Yeah, that's you, Ace. God, it's God.
Can you hear us?
Please.
No.
Yelling up at the sand with my words on.
You've seen a couple of other like familiars come with, but they have kind of sat back. As Professor like Onyx just like had iterated, like, if you need help from your familiars, I will allow it.
on certain challenges, but I think you should be fine with this on your own.
That's a little stinky, but okay.
Granted, you can still call them. It would just be a little cheating. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that's what he said.
It's not warranted for
Straight to jail.
jail.
How tall are the walls now?
I would say as you're walking in more, just imagine it just getting a little bit higher. It's not too high, but it's not like you can't.
How thick are the walls?
Imagine cinder block thick.
Okay. Amelia would like to just observe the walls for a minute while we're all still standing here and everybody's trying to figure out runes. And she just kind of like crossed her arms and she's like rubbing her chin and just kind of like smirking slightly. Just imagine
Why
her.
are you
Amelia, after hearing Quinn say that, just like slow, deadpan turns to Cora and is like, "Do you trust me?"
Oh no. Oh.
Probably lift you and you could maybe just walk the tops and tell us where to go.
Cora's the expression on Cora's face went from mild curiosity to just absolutely expressionless, and she just says, "You want to pick me up?"
Well, we could group lift if that makes you feel safer. I mean, we don't have to. We could just walk through. We could just take off now and keep going. But we could have the bird's eye view and without the bird, kind of thing. No.
You know, just because I'm small, everybody seems to think that because you're small, picked up. Well, crazy guys.
I was just thinking that you
Odette is crying.
It's like red cheeks, like so, like I'm sorry. Also,
Mind, it's a one-time thing. Nobody's ever allowed to pick me up after today.
that's lifting. Lifting.
We're dancing.
Ronnie is just like, oh, wow. Yeah, not even dancing? God, it's not even dancing. All right.
Okay, and then she would just T-pose, holding her arms up, being prepared to lift it.
Oh no.
Give me a brawn check, Amelia.
Amelia seeing this would just be like, Cora, I think Quinn could just lift you together. We could step on our hands and we could lift you. So it's not like that.
Who is stronger can roll, and then whoever is helping can add adversity tokens. Brawn.
I'm sorry. Your delays were delayed to my Oh. Maybe I shouldn't be the one to lift her.
It's okay. You both lift Cora, and with the help of Quinn, it easily comes off, and Cora, you can give me what Cora would say as they're like feeling their feet kind of lift off the ground. But as you get up to the top, you see the tops of the walls, and a couple of students are in their own. There's not really an exit. It seems like the walls are moving around for the students, but they're like filling things out like a moving test, and then they're moving forward, and whatever direction they're going is the right way if they got it correct. And if they got it wrong, they would have to kind of move around to another question until they got something right, and then they can exit the exam. Once you've gotten enough questions right, you can see like a couple of the students like, oh no, dang it, so close, because they can they, at least for them, it looks like they're moving a little bit faster. Rania behind you has already started kind of like looking through the walls, doing the same things that Amelia's been doing, and they're kind of let me see what they get really quick. They don't see a lot. They see the same amount of stuff, and they're just casting spells to try to see what reveals. For you, as you're up at this top level, you can see at the end of this long hallway, there is a dead end. And then if you imagine the two parallel walls, there is like a wall going to the right. Sorry. And then a wall going like another like passageway. But the door or whatever is like going to the hallway is blocked. So there's two paths, but there's stuff like sand walls in front of it.
I think I know what I'm gonna do. Hopefully the rolls are better in our favor. Odette, you know all those little study sessions we've been having for our upcoming midterms?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so maybe if we just start, doing the runes back and forth, maybe we'll figure it out. And just use our brains together.
Ooh, rapid fire. Okay, I got you.
Rapid fire.
Yep.
Okay, like taboo style, okay?
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm going to use an adversity token, okay? Because I feel like I'm being a very loyal friend in helping her with her midterm. Okay, and give her a +2 to her roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I'm going to do a brains check.
Oh my god.
Not the rapid fire.
That was beautiful.
Runes.
Yeah, do I also need to roll? Do I need to roll brains?
Brain, yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I was just bedazzled.
We're using our brains.
I imagine us also putting our heads together. Like
yeah, and our hands are like hovering over. Like our hands are out in front of us, and like your hands are like hovering over mine, and we're just like thinking about the runes and like drawing the runes. I don't know. Yeah, love it.
Ooh, a +2, so a 5. I'll add more if I have 2. I will use them if I need.
Amelia?
Yes, 11 is mine. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Odette. Even with that, you remember nothing.
Oof.
Your brain.
It was worth a try.
Yes. And as soon as you say that, whatever neurons pathways you created was just like, the ball is coming up soon. And what would Dom wear?
This has actually been my brain. Stop.
Mine too. And you're like, no, focus, brain. I want to know what I learned that day that we were talking about runic lore. But when you were thinking about the time, like, you two were studying, that's when Dom was walking past you all. And he like sent out like a little wink, and it was really cute. And who knows what Amelia was talking about. What could that rune be? However, Amelia, really quickly, you have revealed the rest of the runes to reveal a word.
Amelia pulls back from, touching forehead with Paige, and she's like, "Yeah, good job, good job. Did you get it too? I got it.
No,
Did you get it?"
Nope, I gave you the brain cell, but I'm glad that you got it.
It says Tinker. I don't know what. I'm more confused knowing what it says now. Anybody?
The script reveals itself and says, in 1302, there was a tinkerer of runic lore that devised a mathematical formula that any arcanist could use to formulate their own runic charms. What was his name?
Jeff von Spengel. I tried. Is this something we should actually have? Like, should I have this in notes somewhere?
No.
Is this something you've said to me before?
Maybe.
No.
Oh no. Straight to jail.
It's
Brains?
Sure.
Is it Procor?
What was that?
Procor?
Rania kind of like leans forward and just writes like, Sir? Excuse me, darling. Sir Leonidas Malphizian the third. And as soon as they put the 3 dashes of the numeral, the door goes and opens in front of you.
I could kiss you right now.
Maybe later, darling. And like very smoothly just like moves in front, like, all right, we have a ball to get to. Quickly, let's get this done. It might have been wrong, but I don't think that's the test. Let's write what we know, and if we don't know it, write whatever. Put in see if we don't know the answer, you know, my goal. And let's get out of here. I'm sure we will get our exam questions afterwards. It doesn't seem like Professor Onyx is the one to go straight to the point and give us like confirmation that we got it right. And so you see her just like power walking already. Just next. As she comes to the next one, she just like yells out like, over here.
Is Cora okay right now?
Yeah, I was going to say, Cora, do you want to just jump down since we kind of know what we're doing now?
Just aggressively pouting on top of the wall.
I know. I'm just like worried. I'm just like worried about her poor feet.
Like kind of stomping up there. Like you could hear a little bit of echoes as feet are making contact with the walls above. But
Valid.
it's like, again, so I'm just gonna stay up here until we're done.
No one's picking you up again ever. I promise. No one's picking you up. Right?
Because my dad can't say that.
That's true. I can't. But I will. It's what's done is done at that point.
Cora, Pop-Tart, I hope I have one in my pocket. Gonna
You want a Pop-Tart?
very Pop-Tart.
Oh my god.
That's my favorite.
That is the ace in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing overalls. They got
Respect to the overalls, obviously. Love some good overalls.
All right, the map is not working, so we will just skip forward. There's a couple of questions, and you see Rania musing through it. She's pacing back and forth, like, okay, what could be this? What could be this? The next question has a couple different creatures. You see like a shape of a small phoenix. There's a little dragon, a griffin, and a unicorn. And they're tiny, very tiny. But they look like chess pieces, like board game pieces. And behind them, there are large, like if you imagine, in a museum, they make like little habitats, and then it goes to another area. It's like, oh, this is the Bronze Age. I know museums. This is the Paleo Age, and it goes like that, like little dioramas, and they're just a question front. Runic lore comes from many origins. Script and writing are important for modern runic ritualistic writing. However, the forebears of runic lore came from mystical creatures in our world. Where do these creatures belong?
Me in my room.
The habitats that you can see, the first one is like a forest, and you see like mystical lighting and things like that. Then the second one is like a volcanic cave. The third one is a very lush meadow. And the last one is like ruins. There is like a couple extra added things to the question to help. Hint: the phoenix does not live in the enchanted forest or the ancient ruins. The dragon might live in the volcanic cave. The unicorn likes a place with celestial magic. And the griffin loves open spaces.
Can you give off those habitats again?
Mm-hmm. Enchanted looking like forest, ruins, cave, meadow.
The griffin belongs in the meadow.
Yes, the griffin in the meadow.
The unicorn in the forest.
The phoenix in the ruins.
See, I was gonna say the dragon because she said the dragon might go in the cave.
No, because I think the dragon would want to be in the cave.
Yeah.
Where's
and the
dragon?
ruins have like, which I would assume ruins would have a residual magic, so.
So final answer: dragon cave, phoenix ruins, unicorn forest, and griffin in the field.
As you four pick up these little pieces and place them on the habitat, almost like a voice in a museum would say, they like come alive, and the small little creatures like grow into larger size, and the unicorn lets out a little neigh and runs into the forest, and you hear a little voice saying, unicorns reside in celestial magic, where forces of ever-expanding space can be. And then you hear a roar from the dragon from the cave as all the lights start turning green, 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 and the habitats move all the way to each side, and a passageway opens. As you have gotten it completely correct, and you hear Professor Elmar Onyx's voice like, on the first try. Well, I would say that is something of note. And he keeps talking, but like if he's moving away from the microphone and then eating something in the background until like you don't hear him anymore. As you keep going, Rania like just mutters like, oh, we're on a little roll. Okay. And like, speeds up to the end of the hallway where there's a chest. And at the chest there is a little scroll that opens up and says, I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I?
One more time.
I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Also, you can do checks if you want to like get hints and things like that.
I was like, is it a wind chime?
Brains check time.
Yes, let's do that.
You can do brains. You can do flight to overhear any other students. You can do.
I mean, I'd take that 30 if you would let me have it.
Oh, the 30.
No, it's the wrong one. It's the wrong one.
Okay, I was like,
oh wow. I was like, well, I'm not rolling.
Is this Rania actually?
If you can tell me, I'm so not rolling.
Sorry, one more time.
7.
You speak with no mouth.
I think I know what it is.
Here, let me just say it one more time.
You
and
have
then
no
I'll go
body,
through the
but you
rolls,
come
and
alive
then
when the wind.
I will let Odette talk. Is that good? And then,
yes.
What were you saying?
Me? Oh, I was just repeating it for.
Oh, so sorry. I just want to get
but
to
I
a
did
certain
ping
point, then
you.
we can have a little break. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Cora, it goes through your head for a second, and you feel the rattle of like the cereal in your hands, and you're just like, oh, that would be really great if I had a snack right now. Apple Jacks sound really good, and it does a little bit of a like, a jingle, like rattle in your pocket, a little echo. Quinn, these, I'm going to say with this, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to remember this or just trying to figure it out, like with just knowledge? Like
Just trying to figure it out with knowledge, just a brains check.
The riddle alludes that it comes alive on the wind. What happens? What makes sounds when it?
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Is it a wind chime? Earlier, I was like, is it a wind chime?
It is not a wind chime.
Okay, well that is wrong.
And now to Odette, you said that. I repeated for Amelia. Cora, Quinn rolled. Odette.
Are you guys okay? I don't know if it's correct. Is anyone check?
No.
Is it an echo?
Immediately, the chest opens, and you see the bottom of the chest open wide, and steps come down as there's a question scrawled on the wall that says like, "Echoes are a great way to maneuver." And transmit runic magic, and the information was found by which arcanist scientists, and you see like Rania just like writing like one letter as they're going down the stairs to like fill it in, and it's just like Barnaby and his partner Lexi, and then like that, and you hear like a little ding. It's like extra points, and that's like it sounds like Professor Onyx, but he's like far away, just like hearing it. And you come to a final like area of the room where you see like stars all kind of put in all like like they're solitary stars, like little dots. And it says, there are many figures in the sky that represent the historical champions of runic lore. Here are the following stars, and it lists off the names of all the stars. Runic lore can be used for multiple things. What ritual circles have been used for generations is protective magic. These stars form a specific constellation. It is known as the Guardian. Please move the stars in the shape you think the Guardian is in.
Can I do a perception check to see what everyone else is doing around it, like the other students.
You can do flight if you're like sneaking around to kind of look.
Yeah.
Or brains if you're trying to like peer.
Cut out a little for me at the end. What was that? Brains for what?
Brains if you're like doing just straight perception.
Okay.
Flight is fine.
What are we going to do? Flight.
You hear the like mutterings of people in like, you know, close by. They're in the same chamber, but they have their own little board. And it looks like they all have different constellations, you know, to prevent cheating. But you see one of them, you don't know what constellation they're working with. You don't know the stars. Like you have like the list of stars they have. You can't see all that. It's like a paper in front of them. But the shape that they're doing is the shape of a shield. If it is related to your constellation, you can't see from here.
Was that for both of us?
That was for you.
Okay.
Can I do a brains check to see if I can recall the guardian shape from?
Of course.
Of course. Perfect.
So
you do not.
I figured it.
I don't know if it's the same one, but maybe making a shield. I mean, it's just it's called the Guardian, so. Quinn's gonna go to try to move it, make the same shape that she saw.
The stars in front of you, as you're like tapping onto them, you hear a voice from Professor like Onyx kind of speaking out, but he has like clearly biscuits in his mouth, and he's just like, there's Aldebaran, Rigel, Beetlejuice, Sirius, Procyon, Castor, and Pollux. Very clear in our textbook. Good one there. Everyone knows that the Guardian represents the protective magic that started the study of runic lore. As we grew as arcanists and schools were erected, protective magic was the cornerstone of 𝘀𝘀 Academy. The two sisters were really important at protecting the students from the story of the mythos that surrounds 𝘀𝘀 Academy, and a protective charm has been placed on the castle, and that alludes to the champions of our history who have protected each other in the ways of magic, in the ways of the realms. As the realms came together in unison, in agreement, we wanted to protect each other from the powerful magic that could come in between. And he just keeps going. And as the last couple of like stars come into the way it lights up, as you are correct, and you see a couple of other written questions, like for extra credit, and Rania starts like writing them down. She knows like one of them, but for the other ones, you see her mutter like, I don't know this. I'm just going to make up a name. Yeah, okay, and then like fills it out, and you can see as soon as she like fills it out, it accepts it as like, you don't know if it's correct, but these main questions let you keep going. The middle area opens up, and you see like behind you the sand has like come like closer and closer to the end, and there's a winding staircase back up to the runic lore classroom. Professor Aylmore Onyx just like, put your answers in, don't worry about it. Your familiars are waiting for you. Told you. Good one, Ronnie. I see you've answered this one. That's good. Extra points to you. And as he's like starting to mutter again, you all like come up the stairs and see him like almost in his like a bathrobe, as if he's like getting ready for the ball, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I could just don't mind me. And he goes up his own set of stairs to his own private rooms, and you see him muttering from far away. And for those who are still in the test, they hear the like questions from from Professor Onyx, but he's in his own batch, just like, oh, like making little sing-song stuff like while he's getting ready for the ball. Now that you've completed,
how much I love him.
I love him too. He keeps droning on as all of you leave, and just to get to us to a break, you also had a demonology test, but it was a written exam. You all go and meet up with Rania, who's like much, like they ran off to do something, and there was much later. And as this test was going on, you saw, you can all roll to see, roll at me like. And this is just for flavor. I'll just add it in. But for demonology, it's either fight or brawn. You can roll one of each or 2 fight, whatever it is you want. I'm going to just say like that would kind of like show you how well like you did in the test. But all of you notice Rania finished a lot earlier. But before I say the rest, I want to see if anybody rolled real quick.
So is this a like magic or like basic stat roll?
Let's do a basic stat roll for the first one, like you are remembering information, and the second one is magic. It could be either fight or brawn.
Okay, fight or brawn, got it.
I rolled 2 fight, just so you're aware.
That's the 2d10?
Yes, it is.
Got it.
Ouch.
Fucking snake eyes, man.
Is that unlucky or lucky?
I'm guessing pretty darn unlucky.
Or give me a flight check or a brains check. Okay. There were multiple questions. There were like questions like, what is the hierarchy of the demonic ranks in the infernal realm? And there's like 8 ranks, and you have to understand what levels are which. Or you probably remembered the Bastion from the previous week, and you wrote that down in the correct spot. You're not sure if you did it in the correct order. You had to answer, what are the characteristics of imps? You did not know how to like write down like what exactly. It wasn't great, but you kind of were like rushing through. But you noticed that Rania had pulled out a book from her bag and looked at it. Rania is not the type to cheat, but you clearly saw them take a book out and open it up. These like almost like write in it and then like put it back in. For everyone else, Amelia, you had a 5 and a 5. I'm going to say that you answered all the questions to like adequate level. And Odette, you did wonderfully on the first half of the test, but the practical portion, you struggled with getting the right summoning circle out. And Regulus tried to help you. Regulus tried to, write the circles right. And you can hear Regulus like muttering things to you during the test, like, this was this. I remember this from when your father was trying to find this out, but I'm not sure. And because of that unsurety, you like did like the wrong wand flick and didn't complete the circle. You didn't get low marks for it, you just didn't get the best. Quinn, you did adequate on the written portion and you excelled at the portion, to the point that Professor Harkness looks at you and says, wonderful, good job. You have really completed a circle. Wow, you've learned a lot there, Miss Castell. Professor Harkness is not the type to be showing that much emotion. Your first class with y'all was like, if you do this incorrectly, you will be penalized. And it's not that she's unkind, she's just a strict teacher. But she even like breaks her smile, just like breaks her like stern face a little bit to like smile at you for that. As you all finish your exams, everyone is abuzz who have like, Ronnie has like went ahead of you, and
probably waiting for all of you to rejoin and get ready for the ball, which we will do after this wonderful break. Everyone out there, go get a drink. Everyone in here, get up, move. I'm gonna stop recording right now. Ways to hallways and downstairs down to the caverns. This school is not built like other castles. Of course, there's towers and large rooms, but a lot of those classes exist underground in deep pockets of the earth. Of course, there's castle walls and stone and the building. But every time you go underneath, it feels like you're in that grotto. It feels like you're going into an echoey space. The midterms for the class are, occurring. You see your friends kind of wave at you. You see Cora kind of climbing onto a seat, and Quinn just like, hey, over here. And Odette passing around like extra like quills, extra ink. Amelia has made like little like treats for you and handed them around, and muttering like certain things to himself, like just like spells, incantations, and names, as Professor Harkness just like claps to you and says, everyone, please be seated now. Thank you. Welcome. Okay, everyone, hello. Good. Welcome to your midterm exams. Granted, if you have studied for this day, then you should not be stressed at all. I see all of you are ready. Are we ready? Should we begin?
Rania kind of chuckles at her, saying you shouldn't be stressed at all. And she's with the rest of the class where she's like, ready, kind of in unison.
Of course. And you can see this, Rania, from this being your favorite class. Your teacher is someone who you've noticed. The students around you, they like murmur a little bit. They like say a couple of things like, laughing like, oh, this, what question about this? What about this? You see Miles like, do you think this will be on the test? And she just like laughs really quickly, like a little giggle, like to herself. And you hear the big steps, very soft steps of 𝘀𐌀𐌐𐌊 coming in and out loud, just saying, now, children. If you are prepared, you will be fine. And they share a little smirk to each other. And she flicks her wand, and papers from her desk start like coming to you. And everyone's desk kind of widens to have like a little incantation board, like chalk, and a space to write in answers, like a little area for the paper to land, and that's like the paper hand pamphlet to like fill out things. And you see a couple students already going through it, and a couple of other students like already like, what the heck is this? Your friends behind you have their own very, like, you hear like Cora out loud like, oh, this wasn't in the book, and like trying to go back to it, and people scrawling things immediately. You know, Ronnie, as you open to the questions, there's a couple of fill-in questions. First one, what are the primary characteristics of an imp? What would Rania write?
Rania would write that they are no taller than 2 feet, are red in color, and have 4 tiny little horns.
Closing and opening a summoning circle means closing and opening a contract, a binding agreement. It means if I open this, you can come, and if I close this, you will leave. And the right way, and what Rania remembers, and only this, the right way to do it is to make sure the terms are clear.
That's what she'll write on her exam, is to have clear terms.
Short and to the point, like make sure to have clear terms.
To have, well, I guess would be a little bit more extensive. She would put to have clear terms in your contract with the Intuit that has come out of the circle.
With that, like the next question, like flicks, like it's like the paper is just, you know, simple paper and writing and printed, but the incantation board like opens up, and a question asks like really quickly, like, describe the typical hierarchy of demons in the infernal realm. And everyone's like familiars. You see a couple of them like are slithering through the things and tapping through stuff, and going through stuff. And you see Sid like pulling down, like he's been next to you reading through it, but since you're quicker at the questions, he's just like yes, yeah, of course that's that, yeah, of course. And then seeing the hierarchy one, he immediately starts like tapping like the desk, and Professor Harkness just like, shh, quiet. And he says out loud, at least to you, oh yeah, this is the hierarchy. I remember. Okay, 1, 2, and starts listing out the hierarchy. With the same roll, I won't make you roll again because you would probably easily know this. He lists out the 5 up to hellhounds. And then you remember there are marquises, barons, bastions, which was that level of demon that you saw before, dukes, high dukes, archfiends, archdemons or demonesses, and then the higher level demons that are known as the Demeras. And you start writing this down, and the test starts, you know, flying through. You see a couple other questions. You have a little puzzle, little thing that the teacher is trying to trick you. Maybe they added like an extra word in there, like that probably other students would be like, like you can possibly this is what Miles is sighing on to the right of you, just like, what the, like, just doesn't understand the question, but you read it and you instantly understand. Like, you're supposed to write down what the concept of demonic binds are and how its effects on mortals and what typically is like would corrupt them. That's like the trick question. You're like, oh, it doesn't corrupt. You write, like, Rania immediately can feel that answer come fill in. Like, it's not corruption, it's just misunderstanding of terms. As the papers, everything is, you know, being filled out, the book in your bag does a little shake. Very subtle. The next part of the test is happening soon, but it just doesn't quite, like, just, you can hear it like tap against, because it's shaking in your bag, it taps against the wood of the chair. Professor Harkness at the front of the desk is just focused on whatever she's doing. 𝘀𝑀 does like a big sweep around the room and leaves to patrol the hallways. Clearly nothing in here needs any, you know, 2 people's direct information. But Rania, you can notice this. It's a very quiet room. Probably multiple other students notices. 𝘀𝑀 like nuzzles up to Professor Harkness and goes up to a couple students. Is like, that's good, good job, and just does that little quiet thing like a teaching assistant would do before they leave.
Okay, so with the tapping of the book in her bag, her mind immediately goes back to the demon in the library, and Rania's first thought is is there a way to look at the book without it making it look like she was cheating? Because what if it's another message?
Do you want to do like a flight check to sneak the book out?
Yes. Why not? Let's play the game. Let's play.
Well, let's play the game.
Oh,
You could also do like other ways to do it, like you can do magic to hide something, or like obscure, so you're not like sneaking. You're just making it look like you're awake, like by drawing like stuff on your, you know what I mean? Like different ways to do this.
Dice must clearly like this demon because it's exploded.
Yeah, please roll again.
And then literally half.
The dice really likes how the story is unfolding. They're like, yeah, I want to know more. The book opens easily in front of you. Professor Harkness is not looking up. The other students aren't even looking up to the noises. Your friends behind you, Rania, are quietly focused. And as easy as you pulled out a book at the Weevil game the other weekend and opened the pages, it's like people think that's part of you, to have a book always open. You see a couple messages. It just says, I am weak. I need something more. And like the page doesn't flit around. It's just using the words to the open page that you have right now. So it's very quiet, but the light is dimmer, not as strong as it was when it was calling to you before, when he first had like all his strength. And he, the light, like a message comes up, says, you have an exam, but don't need much. I need a new shape. Bring ingredients. And then the pages slowly start to turn like as if it's just about to turn as quickly as it did before. What does Rania do?
Rania would see this and immediately, like I said, have a small internal panic, and again would try and finish her exam because she knows she can get through it and get these ingredients, because as much as she doesn't fully trust this demon, she also doesn't want him to die.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna try and get what he needs.
Instead of the specific words being lit up, like letters are being captured, and you notice a couple of alchemy ingredients. So possibly you can get it from the student stores, and instructions on how to draw a circle, and maybe what looks to be like a resemblance or something of someone that they could get it from its instructions. And you're trying to capture the letters as quickly as possible and forming them. You're like HELLO, you're spelling them really quickly, and it states that he wants to look like someone but not exactly someone, something to hide him for a little bit. So you need 2 alchemy ingredients, and you should have, I think, the ingredients that students have when they come to school, in their kit. And one thing that you would have to find in the alchemy classroom, and something of someone. He doesn't say anything specific. He's like, it could be a hair, it could be multiple hairs, it could be a piece of cloth, whatever you can get.
Weirdly enough, Rania's brain goes back to that person that she thought was familiar in the village.
Mm-hmm.
And having seen him now a couple times, she's like, I think I have just the person. Because his face is just enough obscure, but also recognizable. It's kind of one of those faces like you go up to a person, you're like, I feel like I know you. And like, they're like, I don't know you. So she's gonna try to see if she can go back to, I think, where were they? In the enchantment room with the pictures. Wasn't he in there at some point, I think?
He wasn't in there, but he was a staff member.
Yeah, she's gonna.
And he had that like weird tattoo that your friends talked about that was like that people had. And he has been, well, he wasn't in the laundry room when all the Umbral Order like escaped and revealed themselves to be hidden amongst the staff and left Orchis Messor on the wall. But he also, you know, hasn't really been showing up to work. The last place he would be like the staff rooms. And there are also like other rooms where you could like find from the last couple of weeks, you probably could have seen like him dusting or cleaning. He definitely has like a work coat hanging on like a cart somewhere. Just give me a brains to try to remember where that would be. This would be a planned decision, and the DC is what is it, a 12?
Okay.
Because you're trying to find something specific.
Yeah. Half of Rania's brain is only 10, so dice don't fail me now. Oh, well, yeah, of course not. So we know where it's at.
Your mind kind of has this little map of the place. Like once you've placed a face, the last time you saw him was well before the laundry room incident. You weren't there, but you kind of got the gist. There are secret members of a secret order who are trying to raise Hester back, who are breaking seals. They broke the first seal, that fireplace right in the ruins where you all like just like went to after the beach, and they're trying to find out more clues. He had that like a similar tattoo, and he seemed like weird. Maybe he's part of the order, maybe he's not. You're not 100% sure. You're like Rania's, like with their brains, you're like, it's suspicious. It's, you know, it can't be coincidence that they also have a tattoo. You know what I mean? So the last place that you saw him was him hanging out by the classroom, like the runic lore classrooms, cleaning. And then it's been a couple like weeks since you've actually seen him or heard that he's gone. Maybe he's like out, you know, like you don't know what's happened, but maybe that would be a spot to check. The test, like as you finish through, would Rania be the first person to be like the student in class who would finish their task, go to the front of the desk and drop, like would be that first person to finish?
Yeah, she would definitely have a Hermione Granger moment where she don't care that her getting up is gonna freak everyone else out. Like, holy crap, like if she's done, we're never gonna finish this. It's because she's so focused on helping him that she doesn't care to like.
Give me just a charm check just to see how the room feels about this, because you're not trying to care, but it's like you're immediately getting up. And
yeah, normally she would just sit around and wait. But,
oh, okay, that's good to know.
But it's an exploding dice, and I had +1, so.
Well, this is just simply really just to see like the room felt that energy. They're not annoyed, but they like because you're first, like the test just started for some people and they're scribbling through, they see Sid's like feathers like kind of high up in the air so you can avoid the ritual circles that you were drawing. You've written down the translations, the incantation board that like is erasing in front of them. They're like trying to copy down. They're not annoyed at you. You've done really well in charming them, but like a lot of them are impressed, but they're also like, shit, okay. Like, what did I do wrong if Rania thinks this is so easy? Oh my goodness. And so they're kind of scrambling and focus, and Professor Harkness kind of notes like, oh, Rania, thank you. Well, have a good rest of your day. I hope I can't wait to see you at the ball. I wonder what you'll be wearing, and it'll be fun, you know, to see your design. Anything special from the Valtoris family line, or is it something of your own creation?
It's a mix of both, Professor Harkness.
Oh.
But mostly my mother's designs. You know how much of a fashionista she is.
She was very clever even during our times at school. I say sometimes I think a woman of many talents. Well, thank you for this. Have a good rest of your day. Get some food, okay? If there are two ways out there, just call her out to me, please. She'll come back, but only if she's out there.
Yeah. She's kind of distracted, thinking about her task, and she's like, "Of course, 𝘀𝐿. I will call 𝘀𝐿. And she kind of says, "Thanks, Professor Harkness. Bye." And she just rushes out the door.
Just for time, we're gonna say because of the brain check, Rania, you find the corner of like where the staff members' carts are, and you notice like one missing, and you know where it could be, and Rania goes to the hallway where the runic lore classroom is, and you see it because this is one of those classrooms that's usually not really like cleaned up. Professor Onyx is very old and likes the way things are, so a lot of things are always kind of left around here. It's one of those classrooms in the back back hallways, and on the cart is a staff member jacket covered in hair and things and items, and you know, multiple different things. There's lots of stuff on it. A couple of students have put their jackets on it. A couple of students have put garbage. So because like it's like a cart with also like a trash little like area, and it's been a couple of weeks since it's been just sitting here. You found you have like the potion ingredients in your bag, and you only need one more item. It is a special potion ingredient that is in the alchemy room. And I get a brains check. I don't know why I'm asking, and it's a planned decision. The DC is it is 12 because it is a very special ingredient.
My dice really love this demon, okay? I can't help it.
You roll one more time because you did explode.
Yes.
The 23. No, I love this demon too. This whole story, this arc, I did not know this was going to this. Anyway, with a 23, the potion ingredient is actually very, very unique. Professor Zedekias Blackwood only has 2 or 3 in store. It's like a ginseng root, but it's a magical plant, a root that is only picked at a certain time of year, then pickled and set into a saturation of sugars and salts so that it becomes like crystallized, and a little bit more concentrated. So that because of the amount of time it takes, there could be like 2 or 3 in a batch, but not a lot.
I will need, you know where exactly where it is in the storerooms. It's in the higher shelves. It's, you know, exactly where to go, what time Professor Blackwood would be in that classroom. And I would say Rania can easily find this. With this brains, you are almost transported. Your feet move faster than your mind does, and you're already in that room. Professor Blackwood is not here. The stores are, you know, always open for potion ingredients. And you're able to easily get this ingredient in the quiet hallways. Taking this back to, I'm assuming Rania will want to take this back to the demon, of course, right?
Yes, 100%.
Back to the library. Of the ghost who was at the librarian's desk is not there. The door to the restricted area is slightly ajar, hasn't been locked. It hasn't been noticed that it's not locked yet. So luckily you're able to pass through, go by. I just need a flight check just to see if anything else, you know, you're able to pass by anything else without notice. Noted. And you come to the doorway of the study room, and it opens to you as you were the one who signed in for the block of hours. And in the corner, you just see this cocoon kind of like open up its cover as if it was covering its face. And the demon looks at you and just, oh, well, how did you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. Everything seemed to be still in my mind, so I think I passed it. I was really concerned about you and making sure I got done, and I think I might have scared my classmates with how quickly I got through it. But what do we need to do to help?
He quickly tells you the instructions again, like make the circle and break down the ingredients into like powder and mush it together, like with the mushy root that you would break it down in the mortar and pestle, and cover the grounds of the circle. And pretty much like he is supposed to sleep in it for a while to like imbue himself with a new image. To do this successfully, I think this would be brains, and it's a planned decision. It would be like a 15. To do this correctly, do like 100%, like efficacy, efficient. I don't know the right word. It would be like a 19.
Okie dokie. See, chat, my numbers do mess up sometimes. Don't be thinking I be clicking on my dice.
The potion ingredients come together. They're not as mushy as it needs to be. It's like, you know, mixing pancake batter and there's still lumps. But you smear it on the ground, and he just nudges away. He's like, it's fine. And you see him like fall into it, like his cocoon body kind of fall into the circle. It's small, you know, compared to how tall he is. But he looks at you and says, this will just take time. Could you just close this room out for the night?
I think I should be able to. Just let me sign out. I'll probably have to come back after a few hours and sign it back out again, but I can make sure you're undisturbed.
Okay. You would already know this. You can sign out for as many hours as you need. You don't need to like it's not like a block of hours. It can, well, you can, it's like one of the options, but you can also be like, I need this for this amount of hours.
hours or 12
Yeah.
hours. Okay.
Yeah. After signing that out, and he goes to rest, he like shuts his eyes to just sleep, and you see just like glowing purple red light coming from the circle and covering him, and like slowly growing on him like moss on a tree, and reaching into the cocoon with tendrils, and whatever was in the coat, the like there's stains and stuff from the garbage and like other people's coats and stuff mixed in. With this, we're going to like cut to like the next day. Today is the day of the ball. Today, the morning wakes, and you are able to see the like sunlight, the noises around you, people being really excited and happy that they're able to dress up and come together. There is wonderful like music playing. A couple of the students, the older students, have summoned up like instruments and things to celebrate that their exams are done, and a couple other students are not too happy about that because they're like, oh no, this is not happening. The ball is, you know, something of everyone's mind. Even the teachers are getting dressed. You've noticed a couple of teachers' hairs are a little shinier than normal. Even Professor Arabelle, the assistant headmaster, his like scraggly curly hair is not. Is together instead of like
it's Hagrid style. Got it.
Yeah, it's together, and he even though he's known to have a scowl on his face, he's not unhappy. He's neutral. But he has a clean outfit already on. His alligator familiar is fully clean and ready. There's music, beautiful things like playing in the courtyards, and everyone's just anticipating and ready for this event. You don't have any exams today. A couple of students, like the older students, had like a big exam in the morning, and you can see a couple of them like running out of like the classrooms like, oh, we're done. And people who are people who are like interested in fixing up their hair, fixing up their makeup, and who need like more time to do so are already preparing for it. Unluckily, the weather isn't great, but that doesn't. Nobody cares about it. Nobody cares. They're running to their rooms to get prepared, get dolled up, get you see like shipments from the tailor like that came in for last mending, last little stitches, everything. Everyone's picking up things. There's movement, and the space is just filled with energy. Your outfit. How would Rania's family, like, this design, I know you went to the tailors, but you had this already prepared. How would this arrive to Rania?
So Rania would personally get the box delivered from her mom when she came for Parents Weekend. And it's in a big, huge black box with this pretty black ribbon that kind of looks like Obsidian's feathers. So it's very shiny black ribbon. And when she opened it up, she was expecting to have a black gown because everyone in her family wore black to the school ball. But her mom surprised her. When she opens the box, the style is still very much her family. So it's a like corseted top pantsuit that has like a huge billowy heavily jeweled, like actual diamonds sewn into not only the bodice and the pants, but this huge like train of her dress. And surprisingly, It is white.
Would Rania get ready for the ball as soon as possible? Or what would be Rania's, like, what would Rania be thinking right now looking at this dress? Like, what should I do next?
Rania would be totally surprised, because that's why when she went to the tailor, she was like, I already have something picked out. It's because she was not looking forward to wearing similar dress to her mom and her sister. And so after seeing that it is white, she just stares at it and she says to Sid, she's like, Sid, it's white. It's white. And that's all she can say. She's like super surprised.
Your friends are, getting ready and they're kind of putting their outfits together. There's music playing. It's, there's excitement, and you can hear in their voices as they're trying things on. And a couple of them like come out like behind you, and you can even see them like, oh, that's beautiful. And they're just speechless.
Rania is speechless herself, and she's just kind of softly mutters. She's like, thank you. And she picks up her brush and starts trying to detangle her curls, because she knows that everyone's gonna be dressed to the 9s, the 10s, the 20s. And so she's trying to make her curly hair as smooth as possible with no knots, to the point where she even takes Obsidian out and she like holds him in front of her, and she's like, tonight, you cannot mess up my hair. I will put you in my pocket. I will put you wherever you want. But today, no nest. Okay? No nest.
Arm, please.
She's gonna try to charm the pants off this little booger. She wants to make sure. Do that. +1. A 4.
A 4? Sorry, why does this keep moving? 1 second. Where's my browser source for this? Keeps moving to the bottom. But 4 is what is that? It's not enough to fully convince him. He might still, you can see it in his like little black eyes, just like, what are you talking about? I won't, I promise. But it's cold.
She definitely does not believe him with his little mischievous little look. She just kind of stares him down. She goes, you can make a nest after the dance, okay? As big as you want. And I won't comb it out, okay?
Okay.
He still doesn't believe him, though.
It's like quick answers. He literally, like, he looks to like almost longingly as like you find his like treasure trove, and you like shiny things that he's found, coins. You've heard that Nolan was missing an earring. You found the other one. Maybe like a broken part of a quill that was like a little glossy that he found. He's been hiding the shiniest things he could find that ravens love and enjoy, and just like he's just like, no, keep that one, no. Yeah, and just like having these little spurts and like bouncing around little raven as you're like combing through this. And when you're finally done, you have like a good little treasure trove that he's like moving around his beak in this little pile and trying to keep together. And your hair is like curled down. Like explain how you put together your hair, your makeup, if you're wearing makeup, or any jewelry or accessories that you have that you would be wearing for tonight.
as she's like seeing him freak out, like literally freak out about his little treasure trove, he would grab like a basket off of her shelf so that she can put it all in there for him, and he doesn't lose anything. But she does take the earring back, and she like kind of hides it. But as she gets her hair together and Sid's kind of like doing an inventory, she's got it super curly as normal down, but she decided to do kind of like a crown braid at the front of her hair. And she's already planned to wear gold because she thought her dress was going to be black. So she wanted to make her eyes pop since they're very vivid green. So she used gold makeup. Everything else is kind of like a natural to her normal look. But she did doll up her eyes and made sure that she put on all of her gold jewelry.
I'm guessing Ronnie would do this a little apart from your friends. You've been apart, like, you know, is this something that Ronnie would do in the confines of their own room, their little like chamber?
Yes, she would do that because she wouldn't want like any of her runes to accidentally pop out. So she would be making sure she like braided her hair just right and did her makeup because she wants kind of that same effect that her mom had on her friends, of seeing her in something that's not black or green or very to the T stoic for school.
The time it takes to get ready, you know, and comb everything through takes its time. And the invitation that like everyone received, even though it was just like going to happen at the school, you know, has like a little chime in it that's saying that it's like it's coming up, that you should come together and you know, arrive for like pre-evening meals and dances. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna stop this right now because I just have to answer this one question. Hold on. And all of you walk in, and the room is covered, decked out in golden, beautiful green foliage and flowers of yellow, light pink and white. There's like a harp playing for some reason, and somebody wants to play like louder music, so you see a couple students like trying to like mess with it with an incantation, so it like plays a little faster and they can start dancing already. There are delicious food, but instead of being at tables, the tables are pushed all the way to the back, and there are long tables of food, little hors d'oeuvres, little things, little finger foods and smaller plates to hold them in, and a punch bowl, drinks and everything. There are bottles being opened. People are still prepping, you know, in the background, but you see at the ball, even Dominic and Odette have come together. A couple of people have paired up. A couple of people have asked. There's a nervous people at the corner who haven't asked yet for a dance. And as the music is coming in, please describe to me how Rania looks just one more time as she walks in. The shine, the glimmer, the light that's emanating from the dress catches a couple people's eye. You see a couple of the other students
just look over. The music swells up for a moment, and it feels like these last couple of months have been, if not more than just adventurous. You haven't just studied, you haven't just walked in and, you know, to a school, and the feeling of it isn't like, oh, a couple months have passed. People around you have noticed that you are something different. You're not only intelligent and brilliant at exams, but when you step forward into this space, you command it. It's not unfamiliar to them. They've seen your parents, they've seen your mother and your aunt. Amryn, when he walks in, what would his style look like? The presence you both share, the presence that you both have is noticeable, and the room feels it. That's why there's a 𝘀𝘀𝐿 wing. That is why the Night Phoenix only works and hands their familiars to your family. It's a proud family, and you walking in there, even though you're the youngest, and even though you're just started out, it's only been, what, a couple of months? You feel the theme, the branch that you are kind of growing out from the tree that is 𝘀𝘀𝐿. And people are noticing when this tree, this little branch, is now becoming strong. It's not flimsy, it's not green. It has bark. And you walking in, it reminds them that people can surprise you just like that. A couple of students are kind of intimidated by that a little bit. They're trying not to let it bother them. They're trying to like maybe step forward when they see you walk in, and you recognize them. There are a couple older students, who are like, maybe one of them is like in a year above you, who just like, who maybe want to ask you to dance, but they like step away when like they come up a little bit. And Amryn's not behind you, they're kind of already in the room, but they just like, you know, they saw you and kind of stepped back and like, okay, maybe not. And a couple of students your age are like coming to you and saying, wow, you look amazing. You see Emma decked out in this beautiful like light blue dress that comes down, like has like a high collar but no sleeves, and Nolan, who has like a suit but also skirt. And I'm so sorry. I don't know why YouTube did that. I don't know why YouTube did that. We're gonna pretend like it and like, edit that, Maz. Thank you. The different students that are there, the people who are around, they kind of come up to you and say, you look amazing, you look great, this is, you know, so beautiful. They start like looking through your fabric, they're feeling it a little bit, they're trying not to like touch at it, but you know, like they're just so, it's dazzling. What does Rania do with this extra attention at them?
So her natural instinct would be to try to become invisible as possible. But she too can feel her own aura, and she does admire her aunt and her mom for having that natural commanding presence. So she's kind of reveling in the moment. And so she keeps her head high and notices everyone coming close, and she just very confidently just says her thank yous and is like, her eyes are wandering the room for her friends so she can feel comfortable and make sure people aren't uncomfortable with this newfound confidence she has.
I'm just trying to make sure this is good. Definitely, as you're going through the people are noticing there's food, there's, you know, they're trying to like weave through the tables of food to kind of glance at you. Amarin has like come over and like just has like, you know, taken the time to come over and be like, well, we're not even there yet, and you look at you, look great. I'm glad Mom did that. Like, just, it's just he sounds as if he's like doesn't have words, the right words, but he's trying to be nice but also be a big brother and be ridiculous and tease you, but he can't because the words aren't coming out right. He's like, Mom did great. You look wonderful. This is no, and he stumbles a little bit. Where you are at this entrance, this room is beautiful, but at the end of this room is this large astral, like bended circle. And as students have eaten, taken, you know, like drinks, they're walking in through that. And Amarin kind of points to it and says like, you can bring in whatever food you want from here, but that's where all the dancing will be. At least that's what I've heard. They change it every year. I hope you're not nervous.
She would chuckle at him being just as dumbfounded as she was. And she would just kind of have a very little sister moment, and she just pull him in for a huge hug, like around his midsection, since he's like taller than her. And she would say, "Thanks, big bro. You look pretty handsome yourself."
He has his like hands out, like, yeah. And then he gives you like a one-handed hug, like, yeah, I know. You look good too. But even though it's very one-handed, like how brother hugs usually end up being, you feel him like hold onto your arm from the other side and like tighten. And as you release, you see that face and like where he's clearly pleased with that. And he's like, "Here, I got you some things." And he like has a couple of plates of food like he had set on the table, and he like hands it to you. He's like, "This one might probably make a mess on your dress, so let me give you this." And he takes a couple, pops them into his mouth, and he like the other ones are just small little pies, a little sweet dessert, and then a couple of them are like things in a blanket, you know, little dumplings, little something small.
She would say, "Thanks, big bro. Make sure you get some fruit for, you know, the grouchies that can't be, you know, buried in our hairs today."
He has his hair like very wonderfully done. Like I imagine he like got his I don't know why I imagine this, but I think it's so beautiful when I love like retwisted locks, and they're in like really beautiful patterns, and like updos.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's what I imagine him in, and he just like looks at you and just like smirks, like, "I told him he can't be in this today, and you should have seen the fit he had. He was so annoyed, but
He's a little better than yours, I believe. I think he likes nests, but if he can make somewhere, you know, I guess I don't have a lot of real estate for him to enjoy it, compared to you, of course.
She would crack a joke and she would like, yeah, because all your real estate's up front on your forehead.
He's gonna just like, as if his face just like, dang it, I set you up for that kind of thing. Like, he just gonna like, okay, and he's gonna like, I'll see you in there if you're gonna start this already. And he like, you see him turn around, and his familiar isn't with him at that time, so you can see him just like feel a little bit like how you would be without Sid, just like he's alone at the party, and he like immediately joins his friends to fill in that gap, and they like walk through this large portal at the end. You guys, what do you do first?
Amelia jumps into, just after getting out of, you know, washing all that sand off from class and starting to get ready. She's combing her hair and taking extra care to like really moisturize her face, and she's struggling with a braid and can't really get it to fall how she wants, as she's trying so desperately to get her hair to cooperate with her, and to get her curls to fall just right. And in a struggled sigh, she just drops all of the hair in her hands and says, "Can somebody please just help me with the braids?"
Cora, who has many braids in her hair at all time, is like, "I got you," and she'll kind of shuffle out of her shoes that are currently filled with sand and trudge over to Amelia's side and begin putting all of her like pulling strands of hair on each side of her face and putting them into individual braids and wrapping them around the back of her head.
Ugh, thank you so much, Cora. It just wouldn't fall the right way. I don't know why.
You've got that nice, like, fine hair texture. Like, I don't understand how you've ever gotten into braids before. That's some talent you got there.
Too kind. And then she would just kind of sit there patiently, and she would try to start applying some makeup, like just like light eyeshadow is basically it, and some mascara. She doesn't really put a whole lot into wearing makeup. And then she would go to start putting her dress on. And before she like closes her little dorm back up, she's like, "Cora, thank you again for doing my hair. I love it so much." And she does like a little hair flip as she's like turning into like her little dorm. Exactly like that. Thank you.
Big, like this big toothy grin, like super proud of herself.
Please describe your dress.
So Amelia puts it on and steps out, and walking to the mirror, she sees a beautiful green gown with gold embellishments on the bodice going up to the arms, with flowing fluffy sleeves that rest just off of her shoulder blades. And she wears a beautiful little clover choker that was designed by our beautiful artist, Nay. Excellent talent. I'm so excited for you guys to see the art for these. Yeah, just a beautiful gown.
The winter wild. The winter woods. Amelia, you are seeing in front of you like a little mirror, and you see your reflection. Who do you think of at this moment? When you think of this time, you think of the winter woods. You think of, you know, Tamsin could have come into mind, or the when you met Nyx. Who do you wish would see you right now?
She's definitely thinking of Tamsin. She's also thinking of her mom and dad no longer being with her or being alive in her life, and just wishing that they could be there to see how far she's come and the friends that she's made and all the, like, the magic and everything she's taken in over the year. She would like to think that they would be very proud of her and how far she's come from being this like lone wolf in the woods, just looking for friends with animals, to having these like 5 ghouls helping her get ready for a magic dance.
You hear like a strumming in your heart. It feels like the wild's calling to you. You are not tamed. You're not, a creature who like learns what, a trap is or anything like this. And this school does not make you feel that way. All you see in front of you are in unity, in unison. You're ghoulies, and you are, a different person, a student. Tamsin, has taught you much. Professor Meadowgloom, your favorite class, has taught you a lot. There's so much more to learn, and this ball shows how much you have grown as like the clothes start to fit and the dress comes down, and immediately you see the green dress fall to the ground and your hair laid down in front of you. This is not the Amelia that grew up in the woods. This is Amelia of the Winter Woods.
It's so crazy that we've been going to school this long together already. And she just like turns around and fans her dress out, and she starts to look for her other ghoulies. She specifically starts to look for Odette.
What is Odette doing?
Odette is like, has showered and is like walking around the room, just trying to gather everything together so that she has all the stuff she needs and can see that it's all in front of her. And she's probably sitting in front of her little vanity, like curling her hair and like twirling these little, they're almost like hair barrettes, but they're little stars that she twists into her hair. And I imagine it almost is like a Sailor Moon-esque kind of transformation. For some reason, Sailor Chibi Moon is the one that I think of, but because she's so young. But I imagine it like that, and she's like very excited, like spraying perfume on and like doing little bits of eyeshadow as this big long robe follows behind her everywhere that she's walking super quickly. So there's like, it's like windy everywhere on the ground. You could see stuff moving, like her plants and stuff, because she's walking around so quickly.
What does your dress look like?
It is a dark purple, long, very dramatic sleeves, sparkly. Her hair is, braided in one part and then like curled and such with all of the things in it, and just light bits of, makeup and stuff. And I assume that she would also have a corsage. And I'm assuming that her and Dominic would have bought ones for each other. A boutonniere, I think is the word. That's what she would have gotten him to match that.
You see that what you have bought, in your hair are little, golden star charms that come down to a little bow as your purple hair comes down and curls at this bodice of like star nebula, with like a little choker. Your red ring, little ruby, flickers a little bit, and you hear Regulus in your mind just gasp and say, "You have grown, young one. Your father at your age, I would say he was brave, but that would be a kind word. But I would call you brave, especially the way you defend your friends. I thought when we first came here, you were a little, like, he floats down and, like, lands on your shoulder and just, like, nuzzles and just, like, twists his head in a very creepy owl way and just continues. You were a bit spoiled. You still are. But you have become a defender of sorts, haven't you?
That's all I want to be. I want to be able to help my friends and make sure everybody is safe. And I could be spoiled and still good. Those two things could be in the same sentence.
He does this like very like stretched out owl thing and just sure. As long as you know where the important stuff, where it really matters. And as you finish that, you hear a little like knock, and Dominic kind of has like opened the curtain a bit, and you see him in a bright, like beautiful black suit with the lining of the same purple fabric as yours, as he comes to you and quickly says, I found something a little better than what you have, because it just matches. And he takes out like, looks like a star charm with like flowers all over it, little baby's breath, and pins it on you, and it matches the gold choker that you are wearing. And he like leans over and leaves a little kiss on your cheek.
Insert shocked Pikachu's face again. She is absolutely tips of her ears are red, just embarrassed, just covers her little face for a second. She just puts her hand up like, yeah, stop. I have makeup on. You better quit.
As you walk out and Dominic walks out with you, he kind of grabs your hand and pulls you close and does a little spin. It's not great. It's, you know, they're stumbling a little bit, but on his face, he could not care. He's just laughing with you. And the camera kind of like pans to a certain aura.
At the mirror, beside her bed, just kind of fumbling around in her black t-shirt with the graphic coffin on it, and her pajama bottoms, attempting to figure out what her hair should look like, because she picked out this truly extravagant dress, and she just looks and she's like, I don't, what if it doesn't look like it belongs on me? And she's trying to put her hair up into like a princess bun or something, but she's got a braid that, you know, goes, you know, to her almost to the ground. Like, it's just too much hair to fit up there, and she's fumbling around over and over again, trying to figure out what she wants to do.
Odette would definitely like come up and like knock on the door to see if Cora needed any help, since she's already finished getting ready.
Cora just turns around and from looking at the mirror, just gives Odette these big, huge puppy dog eyes, like not saying anything, but obviously pleading with her to get her butt in here.
I'm on the way. She has got like her makeup bags and her hair stuff, like all of it, already carrying it in.
Cora would point to the dress hanging up on the coat rack attached to the wall and say, I gotta do something to fit that. I shouldn't have gotten something so fancy. Fancy is just not who I am. I just wanted to be a princess, but
You stop that. You stop that. You're so fancy. You don't talk like that. You be nice to my friend. My friend deserves better than that.
Oh my
Odette
God.
is gonna
You don't
grab
look so good in
Kuro
that dress.
I imagine this
by both
happening
little
where
hands.
the curtain is over and you just hear Amelia's voice like, "Don't you say that."
Don't you talk about my friend like that.
You don't look good in that dress.
Odette is gonna clasp Cora's hands together and like look her right in the eyes and go, "You're gonna look absolutely gorgeous in this dress no matter what happens. But we're gonna make sure that you love the way you look in it."
Cora's big old puppy dog eyes come back, and she's got the quivering lip, and she's just like, just filled with so much love for her friends, and just, feeling a burst of energy. She just kind of spins around on her heel, stamps it down defiantly, and looks in the mirror. And is like, "Okay, we're gonna look pretty."
The dress fits right over, and please describe to me what it looks like and the accessory that you have. How you got it, or where it's from, and how it's placed on you.
This itself is a style dress that has lace and ruffles for days. Mostly black, but a lot of red accents in just the right places. A bow holds together a bit of black ruffles that surround her collar, and a gemstone pinning the bow to the collar. She, of course, is wearing her many piercings in her ears, including the new red-studded stones that she had gotten from her new friend. And lastly, atop her head would be a crown, a crown adorned with red gemstones that, for once, she was not ashamed to have gotten from her parents.
As it sets on Oro's head, there's a glimmer that calls back to you, Oro. It doesn't make you feel any different to what you're describing, but you recognize in yourself a duality. You enjoy beautiful shiny things as much as your parents do. The thrill of getting it is similar. It's like when you meet animals that you've never met before. And maybe there's a side of you that could enjoy a life like that if there was a difference. Maybe, seeing your parents really proud of your magic while something made a difference in what you thought. Maybe they were showing a side of you that you've, held back from yourself. But all in all, you hear the strumming in your heart, all the fables and stories that could be written, can be rewritten and rewritten. And it's all up to you. The curtains open and all of you are, looking at each other. There's one more person who is waiting or preparing.
Quinn would be super excited, especially coming after the exams. Her and her ghoulies made it through. Now they can focus on getting ready. Quinn was like, "Okay, well, I have a lot to do. I'll meet back up with you guys. I can't wait to see what everyone's wearing. I'll be quick as I can, okay? As I can. I'm sorry." And Quinn goes back to her dorm to get ready. So she starts like doing her makeup and stuff, and she starts styling her hair, like putting her hair up in a different design, as well as like putting these jewels in her hair. The way she has it, they sit in there where they kind of accent her hair, these little gold accented cuffs in different parts of her hair, as well as the necklace that she got from her parents. She like looks at the mannequin of like like for her is like this is like the reveal time for her, so she like has it covered, and so when she moves it, she looks at it and she's like, this is probably some of my best work I've ever seen. This is gonna be amazing. I'm so ready for this.
There's a book that you've been holding for a while. You've poured through it in your own private time. It's nearby.
Stops for a second, and as like her eyes meet the book, and she takes a second before like snap. She's in her mind, she's like thinking of like, okay, it'll be worth it, you know. As she kind of like tries to resist the urge to like, well, you know, I have a little bit of time type of thing. And she's like, then she kind of thinks about, you know, what you know going to this means for her, and you know being around her friends, like her actually having friends and knowing that they're her friends instead of like people who are made to be nice to her technically, you know what I mean. Whereas like, okay, well, you know royal things. But yeah, she kind of thinks about her friends and she's like, the ball's more important. That's another time. This is the more important thing right now.
It channels for a second, and the fall coming, you know, it wraps up in your mind, and you see what looks to be this firm but resolute face that looks back at you in the mirror as you what do you think you've learned most in the last couple of months? What would be one word you would describe it as?
Understanding, honestly. Understanding more of like what's out there other than what's, you know, what is being taught to her as far as like, you know, what she's supposed to be doing, and as well as understanding her role a little bit more, especially being around other people and being people, especially like, you know, meeting Cora and other witches and things like that, other magic users and things like that. It's you know, like, okay, you know, I understand why what I have to do is important, but I understand why me doing it my way is important, type of thing.
Give me a brains check, just for me.
Okay. Okay, look around the brains. Like explode just before there.
Please.
It didn't. It's a 6.
The book next to you like opens to a certain page, and you remember the ghost from that night where it said, be careful with this book, it moves on its own. And it could have meant something else, but it moves to a certain page, and the heading kind of shows to you for a moment before you like leave the room, and it says, to find lost ones must mean you must find yourself first. And as you leave this room and meet with everyone, that phrase is strong in your mind. You feel the strumming in your heart, like music being written out just for you. All of you have felt that. Songs or a feeling, a theme for just you. As you put on your gowns and your friends join, a couple of them are ready. You see Nolan and Emma walking out in their coordinated outfits. Dominic waiting with Odette. Miles kind of walks up, gasps for a second at seeing Cora, and just lets out and walks away. It's time for the ball. Are we ready?
Just so flabbergasted, I have no words.
As ready as we're gonna get.
There is canonically like tippy toe tap, like just like tapping in place, almost jog happily excited dancing already on the way to the ball.
As all of you come down, you meet up with well, you see them first. They're coming down and talking to their brother. They're in a gown of pure white, something that you've not seen after seeing their family. You haven't really seen it. They have like skulls going like on through the lace, and their hair is wrapped up and combed back. Obsidian is nowhere in sight, so clearly their hair is ready for the evening. And from what you've known from Rania, possibly annoyed with the fact that their nest was disturbed. Rania joins you all and is talking to their brother. And as you are passing by and seeing them, you see them like do so, like what siblings do. They just quickly like make fun of each other, and you see them like make faces at each other, and then they separate and walk away, and Rania kind of joins you. There are, in this room, typically for the dining hall, there are the tables that you see, the long tables that have food, but that has all been pushed back by smaller, taller, little tables at around you. Chandeliers of light, robes, like ropes and ropes of red, crimson curtains, and like glittering light in the ceiling. The music that's playing is faint because it's actually coming from this large oval circle at the end of the ballroom. Rania just, joins you and just gasping, like, seeing all your outfits. She does a spin and immediately like, okay, let me see everyone's. I want to see what you have. Quinn, I knew you would astound us, but this is incredible.
Thank you. Oh, can't say I'm not surprised at yours. Look at you, marvelous. You look like
Mother
a
surprised
snowflake.
me. I thought she would send something black, but this is nothing. nothing like what I thought she would say. Well,
Your mom has excellent taste. She knows.
I do say that is one of her best attributes.
I wonder if she'll let us look in her closet one day. I would love to see what she has in there.
She might not, but my aunt has a way. So I could possibly ask her.
You're cool.
What's your aunt doing?
Thank you for asking. She's good. We were talking the other day. My mother sent like, a letter to us, and it was her just talking on and on and on. And my aunt was talking in the background saying it was okay. It was like a group call that my mother was annoyed, but my aunt, she's good. Thank you for asking.
To hear that she's doing better.
Yes. Cool.
The nasty injury the last time she was here visiting.
Well, my mom and my aunt are not the type to stand away from a fight. So I think if anything happened next, my aunt's going to be ready to like rush back in. But we told her to rest, and she's doing good.
It's definitely like slightly dramatically like eyes watering, like dabbing her eyes because seeing all her friends like dressed up and stuff is like, she loves it. She loves how everybody is like feeling themselves and feeling so good, and she just like trying to place her thumbs underneath her eyelashes so she doesn't mess the mascara up, but dabbing little tears away because she just is so happy to see all her friends so happy.
Odette, you look like the galaxy itself. Oh my god, you're so beautiful. And the
Thank you.
stars in your hair, oh my god.
I was so excited about the stars. My mom found
They
them.
look amazing.
You look amazing. Oh my god, I love it. So good. She's gonna do like little tippy tap. Little tippy taps with her feet.
Quinn's gonna do it with you.
Cora, are those new stud earrings that you have in?
Cora would get all blushy and then just like start playing with the lobes of her ears and be like, "Yeah, aren't they?
Oh.
I thought they matched."
They're so cute. I love them. I love your crown too.
The crown is wonderful.
Such a good touch.
I thought I was gonna be a princess, and she'd kind of like sway back and forth a little bit.
You
A princess
look
you
like
are.
royalty. Yes.
Quinn's gonna curtsy to her. Princess.
And she would do like a big old curtsy, ruffles going everywhere in every which direction.
Just actually squealing at the sight with all the ruffles.
The ruffles, I know. So, are we gonna see any, major scenes from Dom and Lit tonight?
Oh yes, please.
I need to
Dominic,
know.
she just blushes and like just has that face of like, oh no.
She's gonna
Come
sigh.
on.
Alright, you had some confidence earlier with your last dude. Don't let it disappear now.
Confidence. That's alright, we need a lot of confidence here. Come on, Dominic.
I don't know about that, Quinn. We'll definitely dance. You told him. And just like, oh, you told him. Did you? No. And it's like, how did they know? As if like because they like kissed you in your room without like people there. So they're just like,
Yeah.
how did they? Hold on.
Do we see this?
They're just like muttering, like yeah, like you know how
Oh.
like a couple kind of
Yeah.
does those things in front of people,
Yeah.
like that, just like
And Cora would be also silently muttering, like, Dominic, sitting in a tree.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna lean over to Quinn's gonna lean over to Amelia. It's like, we totally missed it, I think.
Oh, I always miss it. It's
he
Dominic,
freezes
it's
up
fine.
just from his grit. He just freezes up. He rolled a natural one, and he just, they have a song. A song. And they're like pulling on your arms, like, I'm. Where's Miles? Just like, I'll see you later. And they're trying to like, Miles, and like looking around for like some kind of companionship, like a partner does when you go to like a party with your partner's like friends.
It's like, someone
Save me, please save me.
Please save me.
I need to make the desperation when you said Miles and
she's just Odette is gonna release the most hearty fucking laugh. Like, she is just, this is just pure enjoyment seeing everybody like laughing and just seeing all of this happen. Like, just a good hearty laugh.
There are.
You're not gonna tell us.
I was going to. I didn't have a time that wouldn't embarrass them.
Extra points.
And I mean, obviously, you guys are gonna know. I tell you guys everything. It just be like that.
he'll learn in time.
He'll figure it out. Yeah.
Wish we had a secret handshake so bad.
You make a secret handshake, and I will do a secret handshake.
Really like trying to think of one, but
I just imagine Quinn like aggressively doing different hand things, trying to think of really
literally
cool.
they're just like, no, that's not
handshake.
good. That's not gonna work. I don't like
No, I can't do this one. This one's
No,
not
no.
good.
She was like, ew, gross, not that at all. I'll get back to you on the handshake.
Got it. Got it. I'm excited.
There are long tables of food. You see, Amryn has gotten a couple of things for Rania in small plates. Rania is sharing in that the joy of just like, you know, seeing everyone talk through. They have a couple pockets that you on their dress. They're very seamless. Quinn, you can notice it though because it's poking out just a little bit, like, you know, like the shadow of it. But it was well done, so it looks practically hidden. And at this time, you could suspect Rania, you know, would of course bring a book. You see a couple of students finish their food and get up, and even Dominic go to get some food. So he like looks at you, Odette, and just quickly, do you want anything? I'll grab you a little bit of. Okay, and then he like walks off. But instead of going to the food, he goes and finds Miles, and you can see him just like meow and like try to like look around the room. And the students who were done get up, they, you know, like get a couple of things to drink, and then they walk through the portal at the end of the hall. Usually at the end of this dining hall was the stairs to the upstairs balcony. It's where the headmistress would give their announcements at the podium. It's where the teachers would sit all together for unified announcements. But it's all gone, and just a portal there with glimmering blue ocean, like glimmering light.
So are we going, or are we gonna get anything to drink first? I really probably should get something to drink first. Cora, do you want to get any snacks before we go in?
And Cora's ears would flicker at the word snacks.
God. I love
Man,
it.
and it's been like an hour and a half since I last had 𝑐𝑢𝑂𝑂𝑐. Sounds good.
Online seems right to me. Let's go. Does anybody else
Girl
want
math.
anything?
Of course. I'm
Yes,
gonna go
please. Or would lead the way to the snack table.
I just imagine big steppies towards
Everyone follow the princess.
Marching steps,
Princess
just
coming
like, he's
through.
ready.
Please make way for the princess. Clear the way.
dramatically pushing people away as we're all around her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like she'd both like be trying, she's trying her best to, you know, do princessly behaviors, maybe do the small little princess wave, while also being absolutely horrified about the amount of attention that her friends' actions is bringing to her.
Her
To
Majesty.
see what that effect is, you could do a charm check. Or
Oh boy, that is like her, like one of her, hold on, double checking. I'm pretty sure that's her worst one.
Her Highness of Snackington.
It is not her worst one. Oh boy.
with the
I'm
six,
really enjoying this music.
people parted
too.
their, you know, the path for you, seeing the sweeping gown. Being as short as you are, this gown is taking up space and notice. Hearing Quinn's little, you know, funny, but very, you know, all the friends doing the same things, even Rania just like doing a little bow and like adding to the flair of it, make those who are older, the students, kind of giggle, like, and those who are closer to your age kind of like, wow, hello. And even Miles, who was nearby, or I think it was Mason and Olivia, who just quickly like, princess, and they just do a little like curtsy. Olivia's wearing like a tall collar dress that comes down, stops at the bodice, and like sweeps down like a big triangle of tulle and bows. And matching with her Mason has a cape of like blue, and like their boutonniere is the tulle that happened with like a little bow at the top of it. And Mason like looks at his girlfriend like bowing and just says like, huh? And you see Olivia like pull his sleeve, and he's just like, oh yeah, princess, can we go? And Olivia's like, yes, we can go, let's go. And you see them like run off to the portal.
Like him.
Good time.
The food around you is delectable. There's sweets, there's tarts, there's small little pies, little like hors d'oeuvres. It doesn't look filling, but you see a couple of like the students eat just enough, and it looks like they're like, oh, I'm full, and they just like stop immediately. And they like grab a couple and put in their pockets and to go inside, thinking there might be nothing in there. You hear them muttering like, oh, these are really good, I'm gonna grab a little. An older student reaches over you, Cora, and the group, and just says hello, and then like grabs some like sweet tarts, like lemon tarts with like a whipped cream on top, and put the entire thing in his mouth. Half of it goes, and he just like tries to hold on to it while he like grabs another one and just like turns to his date like, got one. His date, who is a lot taller than him, has like a suit of black and pink, like almost like a ombre effect, and his partner's hair is like curled back, and he's just like, no, get me the other one. No, take that for yourself. Give me the other one, the chocolate one. And they like turn like, this one, and they just keep reaching over Cora to grab it until they grab the chocolate one. Just like, sorry, one more, and like.
Excuse me, nice sir.
Yeah?
Would you like to make a most honorable suggestion for the princess here, who is picking snacks from this delectable, you know, presentation for us?
You're a princess?
She's a princess. She has a crown.
Look at her.
She literally has a crown. It's right
like
here.
looking around, like, where's the princess?
Twin charm.
Whenever Amelia notices
Mhm.
Cora looking around like that, she's gonna like a slight elbow, like a nudge, like it's you, Cora.
And Cora's just kind of looking up and down. It's like, oh, right. And, just, she, of course, not saying anything, but she's, it's clicking in her brain now.
Her Royal Highness has come to taste these different snacks in order to know which ones are more delectable so that she may have them for a further feast. So which one would you suggest? Quinn's gonna kind of like look at him. It's like, yeah, which one?
As Quinn says that, Amelia's gonna just feed into it a little bit more, like friends do. She's gonna pick up 2 different plates of like treats and like bow down and like lift them above her head, like she's offering them to her princess. Like, yes, my ma'am. Which treat would you like?
Cora's very much not used to this kind of attention, but she's gonna do her absolute best, and it takes her a second to gain some composure, and then she'd kind of puff out her chest, throw her shoulders back, and then reach her hand out super daintily and like choose one of the chocolate ones.
Yes.
Like super dainty, like a princess.
Just because he's an older student and listening to younger, like a group, and also his boyfriend's waiting, he's just like, someone give me either a brawn, or it could brawn if you want to do it with like a you better face, or a charm. It is a high DC.
I can do a
Okay.
charm.
Okay.
Well, for those who talked, it would be Amelia and Quinn.
Ah, okay.
You can do a charm too, but you
Okay.
just have to,
hold on one
let me
sec.
hear you talk it up.
I'm very charming.
Talk it up. Hold on.
Oh,
Hey.
and you have advantage.
For the most charming.
Okay, cool.
So
You said it was
Amelia,
what?
Roll again.
It was a brawn or charm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean,
I sure rolled again.
This is a charm, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Was this a charm
This
or
is
a brawn?
mine was brawn.
Now, tell me what the added effect you did that made it a little bit more intimidating rather than charming.
So whenever he's like looking around, and when Quinn locks eyes with him, she's kind of gonna like raise her eyebrow and like kind of just like squint and just like yeah, her, like, you should choose. She's a princess, like kind of just like nudging like, with her eye, like
Oh, okay. Princess. You look amazing. I would say the lemon ones are my favorite. If you like, well, lemon. But, princess, I hope you have a good time. And they do like a bow, and you see the partner back there just like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta go. And they're just like, I'm coming. And they do like a little like dancing move to kind of like add to it, just like, make sure you dance, princesses. And then like rush off to their partner, and they like lock their arms, or like what's this? Interlock their arms, and you see them like him telling them like what just happened as he like gives them like their tart, and you just see the partner like turn back, oh, and from their lips pretty much be like, princess.
I don't know what to do with my body. Like, this imagery is like sending me into like my body is medicine. I can't move. It's just big ass and nothing else. I really want
I just want to hold my hand out for Cora. Like I set the treats down and then I hold my hand out like I want to like escort Cora around, like the princess she is.
Cora's got big old blush face right now. Still not entirely sure she understands completely what's going on. There's just been a lot of princess talk, so she's trying her best to embrace it as she takes Amelia's hand, and she just kind of skips over to her a little bit with a little ruffles behind her.
I can hear the noise that your dress made. Like the little.
Yeah,
I imagine-
exactly.
I love it.
I imagine Odette falling behind, like, as almost a bodyguard-esque, walking behind the two of them.
Also, I made a little group shot of us. Is it okay if I post it in the voice chat?
The
It's so cute.
It's my not refreshing.
Hasn't posted it yet.
Yeah, I was asking if it was okay. I'm posting it now.
Oh,
So cute.
Right?
I just imagine like you walk into like prom and they have like a little photo booth area set up.
Yes.
We like we definitely walked in and I was just like, come on guys, we have to go get a picture. None of us have a camera, so we have to go do this right now. And so this is like Amelia's like
Here for it.
this is like her whole thing whenever they got in the dance. It was like she wanted a picture with her friends.
That's so cute.
Oh my god, I love it.